because that's so inclusive in various ways. Peace and harmony is basic to any success and any development in any society. And along with that, the whole idea, and that involves, of course, gender equality as well, which is a very significant part of the creation of peace and harmony. The Mahatma said that women have been suppressed under patriarchy when we look at gender notions and customary laws for which male-dominated society was responsible, in the shaping of which she had no say or no hand. Whatsoever the period of history, it has remained out and out a masculine identity. So Gandhi believed that lack of education and information were the root cause of all evils against women. He believed that education is therefore necessary for women as it is for men. He believed that the idea to exercise their choices and the natural rights and work for participation and expansion in mainstreaming India. So deconstructing Gandhi and gender, it's interesting to note that Gandhiji's socio-political philosophy is feminist, addressing gender equality, gender equity more than equality, under patriarchal values. So interestingly, patriarchal values form part of that. Women's education was to be based on their role as nurturers, which is the reason that some critics have often, in fact, reinforced the gender role that the traditional Indian society was prescribing. So we're really looking at that notion therein. Simultaneously, Gandhiji considered them co-sharers in the husband's privileges and fervently stood for the rights of women over their bodies. Clearly, that was something that he stood for, which today's feminists have been crusading for. So even at that time, he had the courage really to respect traditions of the society, but not at the cost of loss of individual dignity. It's good to swim in waters of tradition, but to sink in them is suicidal. Thus, in a sense, without challenging the traditional setup, he inspired women to carve out a niche for themselves, their destinies, challenging this very essence. I'm not going to speak very much about it because the panel, we have such an illustrious panel. Mahatma Gandhi's contribution encouraged women to join in the freedom struggle in Satyagraha. Interestingly, Gandhiji has admitted that the very technique of Satyagraha, non-violent passive resistance, came from women. He said, especially from his wife and mother. Interestingly, he said that Kasturba's passive resistance against him as a man and as a husband, his unreasonable actions and attitudes compelled him to change himself from a domineering husband to an understanding one. So, there's a mixture there, realizing the spirit of equality and acted upon the principles of mutual consideration. We're truly honored to have such an illustrious panel. I'll introduce them after we have the chair's remarks, short remarks by the chair. And Sir is sitting in this position because we have the Vice Chancellor has had to go to Kashmir and for a higher education event. So we have our DSW, Professor Abraham, from the engineering department, who's taking care of students' welfare and very busy with the Founders' Day, yet he's found time. So thank you, sir.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Very good afternoon to all of you. Whatsoever the people are here, I think एक मुझे थोड़ा सा एक दोहा याद आ रहा है कि कदरा संगत साध की ज्यों गंधी की बास, जो कुछ गंधी दे नहीं तो भी बास वास। ये जो गैदरिंग है उसका जो इसमें जो लोग हैं वो उनका स्ट्रक्चर इतना बड़ा है कि उनको साधु संतों की कैटेगरी में ही रखा जा सकता है और उनके लिए कोई कैटेगरी से छोटी पॉसिबल नहीं है। और साधु संतों की जो कैटेगरी होती है वो दे अर्न फ्रॉम so many quarters for the whole life, और they becomes after that to give something, just like बैटरी जब चार्ज होती है तो वो पावर लेती है, उसके बाद जब सैचुरेशन पर आ जाती है then it is give up for the useful power to the human of the to the welfare of the society. So ये जो लोग हैं यहाँ पर, चाहे वो in the different forms, whether it is a coordinator for the organizers or for the speakers, I think आपको इतने बड़े संत जो पूरी ज़िंदगी में जिन लोगों ने अपनी कठिन तपस्या की है और उससे जो चीज़ें अर्जित की हैं, उनकी सोहबत में बैठ के, आप चाहे उनसे इंटरेक्शन हो ना हो, उनकी सोहबत में बैठ के आप बहुत कुछ पा सकते हैं।
Very well said.
The crisis of modernity, for the lack of better the term, has actually engulfed the minds of the great people, of the thinkers. Gandhi certainly stands us as one of those modern thinkers who has continuously reflected on this crisis and has tried to propound and live the philosophy which can lead to the enrichment of the being. As Bhikkhu Parekh opens, modern civilization got grounded in a fatally flawed theory of the human being. In Gandhi's view, a civilization based on such a flawed view necessarily suffered from the several basic and interrelated limitations. It lacked moral and spiritual depth. Since it has no guiding principle, it led to the way of life devoid of meaning and purpose. Our point of discussion, initiated by the Sarojini Naidu Director, Center's Director for Women Studies, JMI, today is understanding the Gandhi and the gender. Gandhi's socio-political philosophy is feminist, but with a difference. The greatest contribution of Gandhi was the Satyagraha, which not only aimed at creating a society which would be based on feminist values, but also advocated a feminist strategy to achieve that idea. I welcome our Sarojini Naidu Center for Women's Studies, Jamia, under the directorship of Professor Bulbul Dhar, for taking this initiative of seminar and academic interactive discussions on very crucial areas forward. My deep appreciation and very warm welcome to the distinguished panel of Gandhian experts, Ms. Tara Gandhi Bhattacharya, Chairperson, National Gandhi Museum, Shri A. Annamalai, Director, National Gandhi Museum, Dr. Suman Khanna Agrawal, President Shanti Sahyog, a Gandhian NGO, Dr. Colonel Ranjit Singh, former Joint Secretary NHRC. I look forward to learning from our very learned panelists discussion on understanding Gandhi and gender further. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
एक बात मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि आप जो है थोड़ा सा जब गांधी जी की बात आती है, असहयोग, सत्याग्रह, सत्य, इनमें चीज़ों को थोड़ा सा एक अलग रेफरेंस में आप देखें. इट इज़ नॉट द बाइनरी सिस्टम, सच या झूठ, नास्तिक और आस्तिक. इसमें अगर देखेंगे गांधी जी को तो सही तरीके से कांट इंटरप्रेटेड है और हिज थियरी. एक तीसरी चीज़ होती है, आस्तिक होते हैं लोग, नास्तिक होते हैं. एक लोग वो होते हैं जो वास्तविकता पे चलते हैं. सो वास्तविक टर्म इज ऑल्सो देयर इन बिटवीन. सो गांधी जी का जो आइडिया है उसको अगर आप वास्तविकता में देखेंगे, ना आस्तिक पने से देखें ना वास्तव में देखें, नॉट पुट हिम इन द हिज आइडियाज इनटू द बाइनरी फॉर्म, बट इट इज़ अ वास्तविकता. तो आपकी समझ में और आपके जो विचार हैं और उनको समझने की जो आर्टिकुलेशन स्ट्रेंथ है वो मेरे ख्याल से और आपको बहुत क्लियर करेगी. गांधी जी जो थे वो बिल्कुल वास्तविकता पे बात है, उनको इसी रेफरेंस में हमें देखना चाहिए. जैसे मैंने कहा कि वो धीर जो वास्तविकता में होते हैं वो किसी चीज़ की परवाह नहीं करते. गांधी जी ने अपनी ज़िंदगी में ऐसे ही किया. संस्कृत का एक कपलेट है, आई विल डिवोट हिज वर्क्स. पापान निवार्यत योजते हिताय गुह्यम च गुहत गुणान प्रकटी करोति आपदम गतम चल जहात ददात काले सन्मित्र लक्षण इदम प्रवदन्ति संता. So इसका अनुवाद ये है कि जो पापों से बचाए, पापान निवार्यत, जो पाप के चीज़ों में डूबे रहते हैं उनसे निकालने में कोशिश करे. ये सब इन द रेफरेंस ऑफ द वास्तविकता है. ये योजते हिताय, और योजना के कार्यों में जो निर्माण के कार्य हैं उसमें उस आदमी को लगाए जो पापों से निकाल. गुह्यम च गुहत गुणान प्रकटी करो, जो छुपाने वाली बातें हैं किसी भी आदमी के बारे में जो चीज़ें छुपाने लायक हैं उनको छुपाए। गांधी जी ने, पर ये इसलिए मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि सत्य बोलना उनका खाली ये मकसद नहीं था कि आप किसी की बुराई है, जो चीज़ छुपाने वाली है उसको भी उन्होंने सत्य से कहीं उजागर किया हो उसे, ऐसा नहीं है। क्या चीज़ छुपानी चाहिए वो भी कभी कभी सत्य से ज़्यादा है, उसको झूठ बोलने में तो नहीं कह सकते, छुपाने को भी एक तरीके से आप कह सकते हैं वो भी बहुत बड़ा सत्य है। गुह्यम च गुहत गुणान प्रकटीकरोत, और जो गुण है उसके उनको जाहिर करना। गुह्यम च गुहत गुणान प्रकटीकरोत आपदम गतम, आपदा के साथ में आपके साथ रहे, आपके साथ चले। गतम आपदम गतम गुह्यम च गुहत गुणान प्रकटीकरोत आपदम गतम सन्मित्र लक्षण में, ये आपदा में साथ रहे और सुख में चाहे एक बार को छोड़ जाए।
In crisis, you're together.
पापा ने आवाज दिया कि उसने कहता है गुह्यम च गुहत गुणान प्रकटीकरोत आपदम गतम चल जहात ददात काले सन्मित्र लक्षण एकदम प्रवदंत संता। ये अच्छे दोस्त के, कह लीजिए अच्छे संत के, संतों ने ये जो गुण हैं किसी अच्छे दोस्त के, वो इस तरीके से इस श्लोक में वो क्या है। तो मेरा यही है कि आप जो बहुत सारे स्पीकर्स जो हैं इतने बड़े स्ट्रेचर के हैं कहेंगे, लेकिन चीज़ों को आप आर्टिकुलेशन में एक वास्तविकता में भी रख के देखें, नॉट एट द 0 और 1। थैंक यू वेरी
मच। So this is another facet of the DSW. We are seeing an amazing facet. So thank you so much. And without much ado, I'd like to invite Shavi to give a sapling to present a token of our appreciation to Sir. A quick introduction of the speakers and simultaneously appreciation for them being here. Ms. Tara Gandhi Bhattacharya is the daughter of the late Devdas Gandhi and late Lakshmi Devdas Gandhi. Her husband was late Jyoti Prasad Bhattacharya, a leading economist. Tara ji has held the position of vice chairperson of the Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Smriti for nearly 9 years. Gandhi Smriti is the site of the martyrdom of Mahatma Gandhi for truth and violence and non-violence. She's also involved with Save the Ganga movement, an initiative to protect India's environment and rivers for the last 18 years. For the past 28 years, she's worked for Kasturba Gandhi National Memorial Trust, founded by Mahatma Gandhi in the memory of his wife. The Kasturba Gandhi National Memorial Trust is the oldest pre-independence non-governmental institution serving the women and children of rural India. She's been decorated with one of France's top honors, the Order, the Arts and Letters, for her contribution in promoting peace, solidarity, culture, education, and development. We're truly honored to have you here with us. I'd like to call upon Kamakshi to give a token of our appreciation to Tara Gandhi ji. We have Shri A. Annamalai, Director, National Gandhi Museum, here with us as well. Shri Alagan Annamalai, Director, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Director, National Gandhi Museum, New Delhi, is the Vice Chairperson, Holding Trustee, Mandal, Central Gandhi Smarak Nidhi, New Delhi. Honorary, he has a lot of places that he's, Director, we can see. Honorary Director, Gandhi Study Center, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Member Executive Committee, Gandhi Memorial Museum, Madurai. Treasurer, Thakkar Bappa Vidyalaya Samiti, founded by Mahatma Gandhi, Chennai. Then member, Magan Sangralaya Vardha, member, Tamil Nadu. Gandhi Smarak Nidhi, GHA ambassador. What does GHA stand for, sir? GHA ambassador.
What is
Yeah. Have we got that right? GHA ambassador of peace and disarmament.
Global Harmony Association.
Okay.
Global Harmony Association ambassador of peace and disarmament for harmony and non-violence. GHA International Jubilee Gandhi Committee honorary co-chair as well. Truly honored to have you, sir. I'd like to call upon Ms. Naz to come and give. We have Ms. Dr. Suman Khanna Agarwal, a long-time friend and very dedicated Gandhian, working on peace and harmony in various ways. She's been an associate professor of philosophy in Delhi University from till 2013, and has obtained her doctoral degree on Gandhian thought in 1978, and has since translated her theoretical knowledge into practical action by founding the Gandhian NGO Shanti Sahyog, of which she's the president. That works in 17 South Delhi slums in Tughlakabad village, New Delhi, and in areas of education. I think you have a gender resource center as well. Healthcare, skill development, women's entrepreneurship, empowerment, care for the elderly, in sync with UN Sustainable Development Goals. She's also extended her understanding of Gandhi's ideology to her work as a peace researcher and activist. To promote Gandhi's legacy of non-violent conflict resolution and a vision of world beyond war, she founded Shanti Sahyog, Center for Non-Violence, a unit of Shanti Sahyog in 2018. We're truly honored to have you with us. I'd like to call upon Zubaira. Zubaira. The last in this illustrious panel, but certainly not the least in any which way, is Dr. Ranjit Singh, who I'm meeting for the first time, but he's been on many panels and many human rights refresher courses. So Tabassum, you're going to remember him as well. Dr. Ranjit Singh joined the National Human Rights Commission. He was a colonel in the army. He joined the NHRC, the National Human Rights Commission, as Joint Secretary in October 2014. Besides a master's degree in disaster mitigation and human rights, he also holds a doctorate in human rights. In NHRC, he was looking after the program management, promotion of human rights, administration, international cooperation with the United Nations. Prior to NHRC, he was an army colonel and served in various appointments in different sectors and capacities. He's done his doctorate in the field of human rights from Jamia Hamdard, incidentally under VC Ma'am's husband, in the year 2012, and is an alumni of IIM Ahmedabad as well. He's taking lectures for scholars of different universities to spread awareness and capacity building on thematic issues of human rights. And he was very clear that this is an area which is very close to him, gender and Gandhi, and we wanted him here. We are truly honored to have you, sir. Simra, I'd like to invite Simran to please give a token of our appreciation. So I think we're going to request Ms. Tara Gandhi to share your views in whatever we'd like you to start off. So that will be followed by Jamia Millia, Suman, and Colonel Ranjit.
भाइयों बहनों ख़वातीन और हज़रात, मैं शुरू तो करूं, लेकिन कहाँ से करूं और कितना करूं और क्या कहूं ये नहीं पता। एक बात अभी भाई ने जो बहुत अच्छी कही कि किसी के पास बैठते हैं तो एक सत्संग का अनुभव होता है। मुझे पता नहीं उनका किससे मतलब था, लेकिन मुझे आप सबके साथ बैठ के सत्संग का अनुभव हो रहा है। जामिया मिलिया के साथ मेरा रिश्ता तो मेरे जन्म से पहले ही है। ये मैं बताना मुझे आवश्यक होगा, ज़रूरी होगा, क्योंकि मेरे वालिद, मेरे पिताजी ने मेरे दादा के कहने के अनुसार यहाँ आए थे और उन्होंने उनका चरखा काटना और हिंदी सिखाने का काम था यहाँ जामिया में। और उसके बदले गांधी जी की एक शर्त थी कि तुम जाओगे, हिंदी सिखाओगे, इसके बदले उर्दू सीख के आओ। ये गांधी जी की शर्त रहती थी। उनको दक्षिण में भेजा, जहाँ अन्नामले साहब हैं और ठक्कर बाबा उस ज़माने में सिलसिले में। तो उनसे भी कहा तुम जाओ, हिंदी सिखाओ, चरखा सिखाओ, लेकिन इस शर्त पे कि तुम तामिल के घर में रहोगे और तामिल सीख के आओ। तो खैर उस तरह से मेरे पिताजी ने सीखी और उर्दू बोलते थे। मुझे अफसोस इस बात का है, शायद मुझे यहाँ पे फिर स्टूडेंट होके आना होगा और अच्छी उर्दू सीखनी होगी। बहुत शौक है मुझे। एक बात तो ये है। दूसरा, मैं फिर पुराने ज़माने में जाती हूँ, क्योंकि ये कहे बिना मैं जामिया में रह नहीं सकती हूँ। मैं जब पैदा हुई तो बापूजी ने डॉक्टर सुशीला नायर से कहा था कि देखो, लक्ष्मी का बच्चा होने वाला है, मतलब देवदास की पत्नी मेरी माँ का, तो तुम जाओगी लेडी हार्डिंग हॉस्पिटल में और उनकी देखरेख करोगी। उसी समय खुला था। तो जब मैं पैदा हुई, मेरी माँ की कोई माँ नहीं थी, तो राजा जी जेल में जाते रहते थे, देखते थे, आखिर वही माँ थे, लेकिन उनको कितना पता होता। नर्स ने आके कहा बच्चे के कपड़े दो, तो मेरी माँ भौचकी रह गई, कपड़े किस चीज़ के, क्योंकि उनको तैयारी नहीं थी कोई। तो अंसारी साहब ने यहाँ के जो थे, उन्होंने एक थोड़े घंटे में जामिया के इस इलाके में दर्जियों से सिलवा के कोई 5 थालियों में कपड़े लाए। और मैंने अपनी माँ से कहा था, मैं तो जन्म से मैंने खादी पहनी है। मेरी माँ ने कहा खादी उस तरह से नहीं जैसे तुम समझती हो, लेकिन खादी के विचार से जो खादी है उस तरह से तुम खादी में पैदा हुई।
वेरी नाइस।
क्योंकि जिस तरह से उन्होंने कहा कि वो एकदम से 5 थाली में 5 लोग आके वो गोटे वाली पहन के और सब मखमल के और सब फिर रेशम के सब कपड़े लाए और मेरी माँ को उन्होंने दिया कि आपकी बच्ची के लिए ये हुआ। तो ये मेरा इस तरह से 2 रिश्ते हैं यहाँ से जामिया। इसलिए आती हूँ तो एक पाक जगह लगती है मुझे। बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है आप लोगों के बीच में आना। ऐसा लगता है कि आश्रम में गई हूँ, सेवाग्राम में गई हूँ या साबरमती आश्रम में गई हूँ। तो मैं बयान नहीं कर सकती कि मुझे कितना अच्छा लग रहा है। दूसरा जो आज की बात है, जो हम कह रहे हैं कि बा के बिना, ये तो बापूजी तो अधूरे थे ही, लेकिन उनको सबसे बड़ी चुनौती बा से ही रहती थी। अगर बा ने तो उनको कह सकते हैं तैयार किया होगा, गढ़ा होगा, बा ने तराशा होगा, क्योंकि उनकी हर बात जो थी, क्या पता था उनको 14 साल की उम्र में उन दोनों की शादी हुई थी, वो एक युग पुरुष से उनकी शादी हुई। तो जब बा हर बीच में तर्क करती थी, ये न सोचे कोई कि हिंदुस्तान की महिला उस चीज़ की ज़रूरतमंद है, क्योंकि वो गांव की जितनी गांव की हो, जितनी ग्रामीण हो, उतनी उसमें लड़ने की ताकत है। और एक चीज़ और है कि शिक्षित और साक्षरता में बहुत फ़र्क है। हम डिग्रीज और पढ़ना, अलिफ बे पे सब सीख लेंगे, लेकिन फिर भी हम एजुकेटेड कहलाएंगे कि नहीं, इसमें सवाल उठता है। तो बा के साथ हमेशा तर्क करते हुए बात क्यों, कैसे, और जब बा ने जब समझती रही बापूजी की बात, तो आखिर में वो बापूजी से भी शायद आगे बढ़ गए समझने में। बापूजी की फिलॉसफी को बा आखिर में ज़्यादा समझ गई। और मुझे लगता है बापूजी जब राष्ट्रपिता बने, उससे पहले ही बा शायद एक तरह से राष्ट्रमाता बन गई थी। और बापूजी ने जो कहा कि क्रिएशन में, सृष्टि में सबसे बड़ी ताकत एक माँ की शक्ति होती है, जो सिर्फ औरतों में नहीं, पुरुष में, महिला में और हर जीव में है। अगर उसका थोड़ा सा भी अंश, ये बापूजी ने नहीं कहा था, मुझे किसी और ने ये बात कही, इसकी थोड़ा सा भी अंश अगर हम दूसरे इंसान को दे दें जो अपने बच्चों को देते हैं, तो फिर हिंसा का, वायलेंस की कोई जगह नहीं रहेगी। और देश में उसी चीज़ की शायद कमी है। लेकिन मैं इस बात से कहना चाह रही हूँ कि औरतों की जो शक्ति होती है वो बहुत बड़ी होती है। और लेकिन आज मैं औरतों की शक्ति नहीं, मैं पुरुष की वकालत करूँगी। कि हम लोग सोचते हैं कि बेटी पढ़ाओ, बेटी करो, महिलाएं तो शिक्षित होती ही हैं। हमें आज पुरुष को सिखाना बहुत आवश्यकता है महिलाओं के और समाज के हित में। पुरुष को क्यों करना है? बच्चे को, लड़के को, बॉय चाइल्ड को, ताकि हमारा भविष्य ठीक रहे। जिन लड़कों को बुरे अनुभव होते हैं, कठोर अनुभव होते हैं, आखिर उन्हीं में से जाके कोई टेररिस्ट बनता है। तो हमें ये देखना है कि पुरुषों को कैसे क्षमा किया जाए, जो बापूजी को बहुत मिला जीवन में। बापूजी ने महिलाओं की बात ज़रूर की होगी, लेकिन बापूजी आज आ जाए तो मैं कहूँगी कि आप बॉय चाइल्ड पर भी उन कहे बिना उन्होंने बॉय चाइल्ड पर उन्होंने बहुत ही उन्होंने उस पर ध्यान दिया। एक छोटी सी बात, चरखा काटना जो सिर्फ महिलाओं का था वो पुरुषों में आ गया, मेडिटेशन के लिए भी आ गया। और जो काटने का काम था, बुनकर जो थे, वो महिलाएं भी आ गई। और इसलिए मैं सोचती हूँ कि लड़कों की शिक्षा, बॉय चाइल्ड की एजुकेशन is even more important and necessary than girl child education, because women only need the tool of literacy, but boy needs to be protected. He should not be ridiculed. अरे तू हार गया, लड़का है, लड़कियों ने तुझे हरा दिया, ये कहना मैं अपील करूंगी बहनों से कि न कहें। और मैंने यह दलाई लामा को एक बार कहा था कि Your Holiness, don't you think that the boy child needs compassion? He said, yes, boy child needs compassion, but he also needs to be responsible for the citizen, responsibility. तो आज के भाइयों को महिलाओं का कर्तव्य होता है, when we talk of the educated महिला, उसका सबसे बड़ा पहला काम होता है कि लड़कों को भी सही शिक्षा दे, अहिंसा के उदाहरण दे। ये हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है। आज हम जेंडर की बात करते हैं। एक आखिरी बात कहूँगी, क्योंकि फिर आखिर भी बहुत बोलने वाले कि, और फिर आप लोग के प्रश्न होंगे कि बापूजी ने जेंडर की बात नहीं करी, वातावरण की भी बात करी। हम सिर्फ जेंडर की बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन बापूजी ने जो क्रिएशन की बात करी, बापूजी जब किसी ऐसी चीज़ को भी उठाते थे, ऐसे छूते थे जैसे उसमें प्राण है, जैसे उसकी आत्मा को छू रहे हैं। मुझे याद नहीं, मैं उस दिन अब टेलीफोन में अपने छोटे भाई गोपाल कृष्ण गांधी से बात कर रही थी। मैंने कहा कि मुझे याद नहीं कि बापूजी ने कभी कोई कचरा ऐसे उठा के ऐसे फेंका होगा। कचरे को भी शायद वो इज्जत से देखते, ताकि हम कबाड़ी को समझे कि वो भगवान का अवतार है। जिस चीज़ को हम समझते हैं बेकार की चीज़ है, उसमें वो अर्थ देखता है, इसलिए वो भगवान का रूप है। और कूड़े वाले को हम कूड़ा न कहें, वो सफाई वाला है, कूड़े वाले तो हम हैं जो हमारा कूड़ा उसको दें। बापूजी ने वातावरण पर बहुत ख्याल किया और वातावरण को रखा। और उसके बारे में ये जो पापा फ्रांचेस्को हैं, पोप हिज होलीनेस, उन्होंने अपनी बड़े सी सभा में कहा था कि God forgives us all, but what is created never forgives us. अगर आप पेड़ को और जानवरों को या किसी को बेमतलब नुकसान पहुंचाते हैं तो वह वातावरण आपको जवाब देगा। ये इसका हम सब अनुभव करते हैं। तो हम लोगों को सीखना है, या वातावरण हो, या पशु लोग हो, या वनस्पति हो, या कोई भी हो, आपस में हम लोगों का दिल दुखा के नहीं, दिल छू के बात करें। आपका बहुत शुक्रिया। मैंने बहुत समय लिया। बापूजी की बात तो दिन भर कर सकती हूँ, रात भर कर सकती हूँ, मैं बिल्कुल विद्वान नहीं हूँ, मैं स्कॉलर नहीं हूँ, इसलिए वो चीज़ आप मेरे लिए तो हटा दीजिए। मैं जब बापूजी को 14 साल की उम्र तक उनको देखा, बा का बहुत स्नेह मिला, तो बदलते ज़माने को देखा, जिन्ना साहब को भी देखने का मुझे हुआ, इसलिए मुझे जो भी थोड़ा आता है उन सब चीज़ों में मैं अर्थ देख रही हूँ। बाकी छोटी सी बात में मैं अर्थ देख रही हूँ, और आप सबके अंदर मैं एक गांधी का तत्व देख रही हूँ। मैं आप सबका शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ। आप लोगों ने मुझे बहुत सम्मानित किया। मेरे साथ मेरे बेटे जैसे हैं डॉक्टर अन्नामलई, वो आए हैं, और गांधी संग्रहालय से अंसार भाई साहब आए हैं, दीपाली जी आई हैं, और मेरे साथ तमिलनाडु की आई हैं सेल्वी जी, और उन्होंने एक बहुत अच्छा मिसाल कायम किया है। 2 साल के अंदर बहुत अच्छी हिंदी सीख ली है उन्होंने। तो आप लोगों के विद्वानों के बीच में बैठ के मुझे बोलने का मौका मिला, इसीलिए मैं हिम्मत गई, क्योंकि मैं आपको अपना परिवार समझती।
This is a blessing for all of us to have you here with us, indeed. Because the operational dimension of Gandhi gets lost. And I think you really brought that in. Thank you so much, ma'am. But this is not the end of it. We're hoping to get a lot of comments and questions. We have very, very illustrious audience also here. This is also, we are also doing this program under Gati, which is the gender advancement for, what is it? Transforming institutions. And we have the in charge of Gati in Jamia, Professor Simi Farhat. She's also the Dean, Faculty of Natural Sciences. So, and of course we have Ushwinder, who's part of that group as well. And then we have Professor Ghulam, who's director now of the Academy of International Relations. Can you just wave to ma'am? Yeah. And of course our own faculty here as well. I think we'll move on quickly. Sorry.
Madam, thank you very much, madam, for addressing us. आपने कहा कि आपको हमारे अंदर गांधी दिखते हैं. That has given a big responsibility. मैं हर गई इस बात से कि हमारे अंदर गांधी कैसे दिख सकते हैं. गांधी जी someone who we look up to. But now we have got the responsibility that you have given us. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us.
So we sorry. So we'll
Thanks, madam. I just want to think that perhaps you people became orphans in 1948. The nation is orphan today, and Gandhi is very relevant today. Yes. We have to chase that. Gandhi, thanks a lot for having me.
So you can see how many people you've inspired. Everybody wants to speak on this. But we'll open it out for discussion after we finish with the panel. And our next illustrious speaker, expert here is, expert and operational, we're talking about operational dimension everywhere here, is Shri Annamalai. So over to you, sir.
Thank you. I'm not going to speak much because I want to show you many things that will speak on my behalf. Because when I have seen our collections in our National Gandhi Museum, yes, Gandhi Museum is meant for preserving all the materials. And what is the use if preserve everything inside? Therefore, we opened up our resources, and our assistant librarian Nepali is here. So we have processed all the material, and we are supplying to all the people, whoever needs it, according to their own choice. For example, if the advocates, Bar Association of Delhi, High Court, they came up, and we have produced a wonderful exhibition on remembering Gandhi as a lawyer. Because we have considered him as a freedom fighter. Very less known facts are open in the public domain. Gandhi as a lawyer. How successful lawyer he was, nobody knows. And many people asked me, because he is not a very successful lawyer, he plunged into the politics. But it is not so. He was a very successful lawyer. And interestingly, there is one book which attracted me very much, because I have read many books on Gandhi's biography. And Millie Graham Pollock, she also explained in his book, whenever we talk to Gandhi, we never feel that I'm talking to a man. And many women, they opened up their mind to Gandhi to share everything as if they are sharing with their mother. And Manubhen Gandhi has written a wonderful book. And the title was Gandhi the Mother. My mother. Gandhi, my mother. So that was the characteristic of Gandhi. So the women.
So I just want to appreciate Sir, because he was going to speak in Hindi. He's taken the effort to make this whole presentation in Hindi.
Yeah, that is why.
So, which is truly creditable.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Because I have to communicate anyhow. That's why I prepared, and thanks to our Ansari and Dipali for making it possible. So, Gandhi recognized each and everybody who were associated with Gandhi in this freedom struggle and the struggle in the South Africa. And when he said that, yes, it is there. Here as elsewhere, the part played by women is indescribable. When the history of this movement comes to be written, the sacrifices made by the women of India will occupy the foremost place, and just as with women, as also with children. Because we have seen.
Would you like Dipali to read it out in Hindi?
No. You can, if you like, read it. They can read it. And there are so much of photographs, more than 10,000 photographs we have. And we have a good collection of newspaper cuttings. And if you go through all the photographs and newspaper cuttings, you can find large number of women and the children. It is very unique in this character. Women and children. So that's why I wanted to show all the pictures to you. How the women of India fought for our freedom. And how courageously.
I think there's another quote which might be the next one.
No, because it is there instead of reading. Yeah. See. They came out in a large number. They participated in the movement. And how it was possible at that time? Now it is very difficult. When we are talking about many things of freedom, women equality and everything, but now it is very difficult to bring all the women for a struggle like this.
Absolutely.
Yes. And another important photograph. It was surprising to me. And nowhere, you can check with all the world leaders whether they have taken such a photograph. It was taken in 1913 when he was in South Africa. We can see that. All women except Gandhi. You see, in 1913, can you believe a world leader of his caliber took like a photograph like this anywhere? So he recognized the people. And I'm so happy because most of the people are Tamil.
Also, it was
So-
possible because all are
Thank
from
you.
South India, and
Yes,
it was
sir.
not possible from North India. All women are sitting with a man.
No. I'm
No,
sure.
no, at that time.
Yes, at that time. So here also there are North Indian women and the South Indian women. You can see the sari. If they put like this on the right hand side, it's all Tamils, and on the left hand side it's all mostly Tamils. Mostly Tamils in 1930. Okay. Yes. See, the 11 women, they went to jail first time. In 1913, they went to jail, their children. Now, if you ask anybody, can you come to the meeting? No, 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 I have a small child, I have to feed them, and all excuses we are telling. But for going to the jail, they don't have any excuse. They went like that. And Valiamal is 17 years old, the first martyr of South African struggle.
You want me to turn this slide?
Ah, yes.
So women,
Yeah.
sacrifice and non-violence. Epitome of sacrifice and
Yes, the
non-violence.
call. Yes, yes. Mostly, we are calling women as a weaker section. He is very much. Every time, whenever we see they are weak. Yes, they are weak in fighting, in attacking. If you believe the strength is spiritual, then women are very, very powerful. When in 2015 we had a problem in Tamil Nadu, very recent affair. Jallikattu, many people they know that Jallikattu was a very traditional art form for us. But the Supreme Court stated that we should not conduct them. So the whole of Tamil Nadu came into the public and they demonstrated. The Supreme Court came forward and allowed it to happen. That was the recent experience for me. All the women, all the children, as a family, they participated in this struggle. Therefore, it was even now, it is possible. Only thing is we have to organize such event, and we are also trying to. Yes, he inspired, as our Taraji said, these two women, they inspired him a lot. And they were the role model for suffering and for fighting. For both, they inspired.
And for Satyagraha.
Tolerance.
Yes. Mother, yes. So, women is the incarnation of Ahimsa, he said many times. And Ahimsa means infinite love, which again means infinite capacity for suffering. Who but women, the mother of man, shows this capacity in the largest measure. She shows it as she carries the infant and feeds it during 9 months and derives joy in the suffering involved. But she forgets them in the joy of creation, who again suffers daily so that her baby may fax from day to day. Let her transfer that love to the whole humanity. Let her forget she ever was or can be object of man's lust, and she will occupy her proud position by the side of man as his mother, maker, and the silent leader. It is given to her to teach the art of peace to the warring world. These are all the women leaders of that time. And many people, like Rajkumari Amrit. I have taken from various people because there are a huge number of photographs. And we have specially made a special exhibition on women in Satyagraha. Yeah, there is another. So the women of India should have as much share in winning Swaraj as men. Probably in this peaceful struggle, women can outdistance man by many a mile. We know that she is any day superior to man in her religious devotion. Silent and dignified suffering is the badge of your sex. And now that the government, oh, that's different. Yes. Yes. See, this Rambai Kamdar. How much crowd, Bombay, the lakhs of people are assembled, but the honor of hoisting the flag has given to this woman, Rambai Kamdar. That was the greatness. That way they have created the leadership. Yes, next. I amazed by seeing these photographs. See, Letty, the policeman is there, Letty is there. But behind that women, they are smiling. They don't have even fear on their face. And they are facing police. These are all the examples.
They're standing in front of the
In
men.
front of the police without any fear.
Also
You see,
the men.
as if their relatives are standing before. Very huge number of Parsis, Sikhs, Tamils. Without any hesitation, they came forward, they fought. I wanted to show these pictures, that's all. The picture speaks much more than what I am going to say. Yes. See how powerful, how forceful they are struggling. And very simple people, not very educated, very common people. They came forward and they fought. And the children, everywhere, in any photograph, if you see, the women and children are part of it. Yeah.
In London.
Yeah, previously it was all happened in India, but this is a very important photograph. Video also you can see. See, Gandhi started his Khadi movement here and Swadeshi movement. So because of the Khadi movement, the industries, Khadi textile industries in London, they were closed down and they became unemployed. When Gandhi visited London in 1931, he wanted to visit Lancashire. And the government was afraid maybe something may happen or violently they may react to this towards Gandhi. So they have given a lot of protection. But Gandhi wanted to go there. And when he entered, very huge welcome by women. That video, this is only a photograph. There is also a video. How cheerfully they welcomed Gandhi. Yes, they knew, they are aware that he was responsible for their own unemployment. But even then, they understood Gandhi's point of view. He communicated with them. See, another area where Gandhi was degraded at many places. That they put all these photographs. Always he is putting in their hands and women and they are walking with women. That is always there. These are all the very popular photographs. There are so many other. Okay. But they in the public domain, there are other photographs, they are not popular. Yes. You see? He is also going with the children. He is also going with boys. So it is very, very natural. Even if he goes with Mountbatten, he put his hands on his shoulder and he walked like that. See, it needs a lot of courage. It is not very easy. Even if I put Ansar Ali's shoulder, he will remove. If he doesn't like. Natural. But he wants to be close to them. Their affection. That's why it was possible.
Genuine affection.
Yes, very well. And
No undercurrents there.
see, Gandhi was for us father of the nation, or for Manu it is mother of her mother. And Gandhi was very, very playful. Gandhi was very, very joyful. Yes, he was very active in the politics, but whenever we are, sorry, there are so many academicians are there. If you want to be very knowledgeable, you should not open up your mouths. You should not smile at the public place. You should not laugh. You have to be very rigid. These are all the very, very. But Gandhi has broken all the barriers. Wherever he was, that place is very joyful. So I am going to see two videos. It was taken from the. Yes, no, that one, first one.
Is that it?
Another one.
Should we just play that again? Sweet.
No.
Oh, there's one
Yeah.
more.
Back. Yes.
And always at the ashram there were the children. No matter where he was, he always had time for them.
Sweet.
This is the real Gandhi. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to request Dr. Suman Agarwal Sharma, Agarwal Khanna, to present her views.
I would like to begin by thanking Bulbul for giving me this opportunity of having a sharing with you and a dialogue with you, and I look forward to the dialogue later, especially. So having said that, I think I want to begin by our topic is today understanding Gandhi and gender. So I'd like to begin with gender. Now gender, most of you are aware, this is Sarojini and I do Center for Women, but we work at a grassroots level. We work in 17 slums, as Bulbulji told you, in South Delhi, in Kalkaji Goindpuri area, and also in Tughlakabad village. Two very big centers for women.
I think it's. You might pull the mic a little bit.
This one?
No.
अच्छा नजदीक कर लें अब आ रही है आवाज
नहीं माइक ही
माइक भी ठीक
Can you change the mic? That one maybe is working.
अच्छा यहाँ वॉल्यूम कर लें should I take the hand mic ये आ रही है आवाज हाँ जी वैसे तो मैं प्रोफेसर हूँ तो बोल ही लेती हूँ this is a very odd place I'll have to shift a little bit because आप सब इस तरफ हैं तो इसीलिए हाँ तो मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी क्योंकि हम लोग ग्रासरूट्स लेवल पे काम करते हैं 2 सेंटर्स फॉर विमेन हैं और हम लोग घरेलू हिंसा से पीड़ित महिलाएं डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस विक्टिम्स के साथ काम करते हैं सो उनको हम समझाते हैं बिकॉज आई वांट टू पॉइंट आउट दैट सेक्स और द डिफरेंट सेक्सेस दिस इज़ नेचुरल ये तो प्रभु ने बनवाया भगवान ने सृष्टि ने बनाया कि कोई मेल है कोई फीमेल है ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज आल्सो ट्रांसजेंडर वगैरह बट इन एनी केस ब्रॉड क्लासिफिकेशन लेकिन जेंडर यू नो इज़ अ सोशल कंस्ट्रक्ट तो ये मुझे लगता है समझाना बहुत ज़रूरी है हाउ जेंडर इज़ अ सोशल कंस्ट्रक्ट और अभी बात हुई थी शुरू में भी कि कैसे इन्होंने भी कहा कि जैसे यू नो ये था कि भाई आदमी ही ये कर सकता है औरत नहीं या नफे तुल्य काम है who will be in the kitchen nurturing and caring कुछ हद तक तो है ही आफ्टर ऑल अभी तो बायोलॉजिकल बच्चा तो आदमी को पैदा नहीं हो सकता फिलहाल आई डोंट नो इन द फ्यूचर व्हाट हैपेंस बट सो नेचुरली द नर्चरिंग एंड केयरिंग इज़ वेरी मच द वुमेन्स डोमेन तो ये लगता है कि जैसे ये अब ये जेंडर कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट है ये कहना कि केवल नर्चरिंग एंड केयरिंग औरत का डोमेन है सो दिस इज़ व्हाट आई मीन कि ये जो हमने कंस्ट्रक्शंस बनाए हुए हैं अराउंड जेंडर कि पुरुष ये कर सकते हैं, आदमी ये कर सकते हैं, औरतें ये नहीं कर सकती, आदमी ये नहीं कर सकते, या women can do this better, men can do this not so better, you know. So these are gender constructs by our society. So that is why patriarchy. So please remember, gender is a social construct. So society can change it because society has made it for whatever reason. Reasons तो बहुत है, hunter gatherer societies थी in the beginning. So naturally the men went out, they were physically stronger, whatever, you know. But today we live in a different environment where we are very much on par with each other. So the society has to change the gender. And ये चीज़ औरतों को समझानी, you know, slum की औरतों को समझानी बहुत मुश्किल है. So what we do is feminist counseling. काउंसलिंग तो होती ही है, लीगल अवेयरनेस कैंप्स होते हैं, फिर काउंसलिंग होती है, वो तो है ही, वो तो कोई भी कर सकता है. भाई आप पीड़ित हैं, आपके हस्बैंड ये करते हैं, वो करते हैं, तो आप समझाएंगे ये करो वैसे करो, हर आदमी कर सकता है. बट फेमिनिस्ट काउंसलिंग का ये मतलब है कि भाई तुम्हें ये सहना नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है कि औरतें सहती आई हैं तो ये सही है, ये सही नहीं है. और एक्चुअली मैंने तो देखा भी है कि आजकल लॉट ऑफ यंग पीपल they share the kitchen, you know. I mean, they cook together, they share the kitchen, and it is not so much about feminism. Is not about who is in the kitchen, not at all. Whether it's a man or a woman, it is about giving importance to the work in the kitchen. For example, अभी हम लोगों ने you know थोड़ी देर के बाद घर जाएंगे या whatever, भूख लगेगी, खाना चाहिए ना, खाना बनाने वाला चाहिए ना, भूख important है ना, खाना lunch dinner breakfast whatever, you know, important है. So वो भी तो बनाना है. So that is as important as anything else, reaching the moon or making nuclear weapons. So I think ये जो gender construct, let us please remember, gender is a social construct. ये हम अपनी बेटियों को भी सिखाएं, अपने जैसे कि मैम ने इतना अच्छा बोला कि बॉय चाइल्ड को सिखाया जाए कि भी आप शुरू से ही भाई बॉय शुड ऑल्सो ले द टेबल, द गर्ल शुड ऑल्सो ले द टेबल, द बॉय कैन हेल्प विद द यू नो वॉशिंग और द डिशिंग और सुई धागा और whatever. I have a friend who has 3 boys and the wives are very lucky. They are so well trained. उनको कहना ही नहीं पड़ता उठ के साथ में हेल्प करो, वो करते ही हैं. So ये ना ये जो सोशल जेंडर सोशल कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट है, इसको अगर हम समझा दें सबको, बॉय को गर्ल को चाइल्डहुड से whatever. So ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट था. I thought I'd begin with that. अब दूसरी बात अगर हम गांधी जी पे आते हैं, गांधी एंड जेंडर पे. So when we talk about गांधी, बड़ा ही सुंदर तारा जी ने कहा और मैम ने आगे से उसके ऊपर टिप्पणी भी की कि इन्होंने कहा कि मुझे आप सब में गांधी दिखते हैं. सो आई थिंक ये बड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट जुमला था. इट वॉज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सेंटेंस. व्हाट गांधी क्या दिखते हैं, गांधी क्यों दिखते हैं? गांधी टुडे इज अ वैल्यू. स्टैंड एक मूल्य है, वैल्यू है. गांधी इज नॉट गांधी अ पर्सन, a Gandhi is a value. So actually what we are seeing, she's seeing is values in all of us. The very fact that, you know, Bulbul ji organized this seminar, took the trouble of calling everyone, सारे इनके संगी साथी सब ने इतना cooperate करके सब आए, you know. So I think that is, so it's actually, Gandhi is a value. That is what she wants to see in all us. कि हमारे में truth है, non-violence है, परिग्रह है, all the values that Gandhi, you know, गांधी जी तो traditional Hinduism में तो हर हिंदू को लेने चाहिए 7 व्रत ना, सत्य अहिंसा परिग्रह अस्ते, ये सारा कुछ तो हर हिंदू को लेना चाहिए. और उन्होंने इसको लेके द ग्रेटनेस ऑफ गांधी इस पॉलिटिकल फील्ड में भी ले आए. यू नो द ब्यूटी ऑफ गांधी इज द इंटेग्रिटी ऑफ द मैन. हमारे यहाँ हमेशा ना कई लोग के तो 2 फेसेस होते हैं, एक पब्लिक एक प्राइवेट. उनमें ऐसा नहीं था, जो अंदर है वो बाहर है. सो दैट इंटेग्रिटी ऑफ द मैन. अगर सच्चाई ठीक है, इट्स राइट, इट इज़ राइट एवरीवेयर. ट्रुथ इज राइट एवरीवेयर, इवन इन पॉलिटिक्स. सो दैट इज़ वाई सत्याग्रह इन पॉलिटिक्स. Of course, I can give you many examples. और एक और बात है, when we talk about Gandhi and women or anything, please let us remember that Gandhi comes from a Indian philosophical perspective. Indian philosophical perspective क्या है कि मोक्ष, चलो उसको salvation कह लो, निर्वाणा कह लो, कुछ कह लो, but ultimately what we want is मोक्ष. मोक्ष क्या है? अभी इस वक्त हम या तो मोक्ष के रास्ते पे हैं या नहीं है. मोक्ष के रास्ते पे कैसे हैं? If you are trying to become a better human being. That is it ना. एक और अच्छा इंसान बने. I can be a better mother or a better you know better colleague, a better teacher, a better wife. So to try to become better, that is all that is needed. So ये चीज़ गांधी हमेशा रखते थे. And here I want to share with you that when we talk about Gandhi and gender या Gandhi, whenever we talk of Gandhi, let us not forget the spirituality of Gandhi. And and again he was a practical idealist. Workability की बात हुई, operational की बात हुई है. That is true for Gandhi. So when you talk about his Hinduism, maybe you don't know, but Gandhi had only one aim in life, and that was, it was not the emancipation of women or freedom of India or whatever independence rule. It was only one. He said, I want to reduce myself to a zero. That was Gandhi's aim in life, to reduce myself to a zero. और देखिए ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. And not only here, you see Mother Teresa, you see Saint Thomas of Assisi, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. You want to become an instrument of the divine. हमें relationship में अभी आऊँगी तो उसमें भी what is standing between two people? Ego ना. So only if you can get rid of your ego, फिर बात ही खत्म हो गई. So I think this reducing myself to a zero, how did he do it? आप देखिए ना, मैं तो कई बार कहती हूँ लोगों को, people who say कि अरे गांधी ने क्या किया, बहुत से लोग उठ के कहते हैं, गाली भी देते हैं गांधी जी को, whatever, उसके लिए भी मेरे पास एक जवाब है. बट मैं ये सबको चैलेंज करूँगी, मैं खुद को चैलेंज करूँगी. बल्कि बुलबुल मैम ने कहा गांधीयन, आई एम नॉट अ गांधीयन, आई एम स्ट्रगलिंग गांधीयन. गांधीयन होना बहुत मुश्किल है. अभी मैं अलमारी खोलती हूँ तो साड़ियाँ गिरती हैं. अरे 3 साड़ियाँ होनी चाहिए अच्छी, ऐसा थोड़ी ना. I still wear diamonds, I still wear nail polish. मतलब ये क्या बात हुई? जो गांधीयन होना कोई आसान है भाई? मैं तो कहती हूँ कोई गांधी जैसे रह के दिखा दे कोई भी नेता. आप देखिए ना कैसे he lived. Number one, एक तो reducing myself to zero all the time conscious कि मैं कैसे giving the other person importance. This can really is a whole thesis का topic है, but anyway ये बहुत important है गांधी को समझने के लिए. Reducing myself to a zero, ये इनका मकसद था लाइफ का. That is what he wanted to do, and that is why if you read Gandhi, he says, how I laid my head in God's lap and then this thing came to me. बहुत ज़्यादा spiritual है. If you read the last page, Gandhi, how he, and then he calls Gita my spiritual reference book, my mother. इस तरह से उन्होंने कहा है. So एक तो ये हो गया. Number 2, that is why he identified with the poorest of the poor. क्योंकि अपना ईगो खत्म करना था ना, मटीरियलिज्म खत्म करना था. तो बहुत सुंदर ये गांधी फिल्म अगर आपने देखी होगी, और गांधी ने कहा भी है कई जगह, when he went to some places, औरतों के पास वही their clothes were very dirty, तो फिर बा ने अंदर जाके देखा कि उनके पास एक ही जोड़ी कपड़े हैं. So if you note, then he gives away, he's wearing a shawl, he gives it to the other woman. So he identified, वो जो धोती लंगोटी जो पहन के वही पहन के चले गए विंस्टन चर्चिल को भी मिलने. लेकिन कितना वो भी करेज की बात है. देखिए तो जी या हाँ या सो आई व्हाट आई मीन इज कि इट इज, ये भी बहुत बड़ी बात है ना, द वे ही लिव्ड, आइडेंटिफाइंग विद द पोरेस्ट ऑफ द पोर, द वे ही ड्रेस्ड. अब फिर देखिए जी कम्युनिटी लिविंग में कोई प्राइवेसी नहीं. मैं तो साबरमती आश्रम भी गई, मैं तो दंग ही रह गई. उसी कमरे में कभी भी कोई भी आ जाए. और आजकल हमारे यहाँ अब तो क्या हो गया है, हर बच्चे को अपना टीवी चाहिए अपने कमरे में, खाना भी टीवी खाते वक्त चाहिए. अरे भाई ये क्या हुआ? ना कोई वो आंगन की बात हुई, ना इकट्ठे बैठ के खाने की बात हुई. तो मी टाइम मेरे बच्चों को भी ले जाओ, सबको ले जाओ, मी टाइम, सो ऑल दीस टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स. और गांधी बेचारे क्या मी टाइम, हाँ इतना ज़्यादा इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक, तो वो भी एक हद ही होती है एक चीज़ की. सो आई थिंक ये सारी चीज़ें को हम देखें. सो एंड ऑल्सो इज़ वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट, जो कहा वो लिखा, और उन्होंने ये भी तो कहा, आई एम सो स्केयर्ड कि मेरे बाद एक गांधीज़म ना बना ले लोग, कि truth means it's constantly evolving, and like he was, lot of people criticize Gandhi that he's not consistent. तो उन्होंने एक बहुत अच्छा उसका रिप्लाई दिया, that consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, that if you see I have said something different, that same matter, you just look at the later part, because मेरा evolution हो रहा है. Naturally जब मैं 16 साल की थी, मुझे डिस्को जाना बहुत मन था. अब मेरे फादर ने जाने दिया, लेकिन साथ में कोई गया, बाहर खड़ा रहा, लेके भी गया लेके भी आया. ये नहीं था कि चले जाओ जी, और फिर ये बहुत ही स्ट्रिक्ट थी. लेकिन बहुत बड़ी बात थी, मुझे जाना है, वांट टू डांस ऑल नाइट. अब आज कोई कहे भैया बाहर का खाना भी नहीं खाना चाहता. Life goes on, you evolve. So I think we have to see also this evolution from this point of view. I just want to bring out कि हमारी relationships, अगर अब स्पिरिचुअल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से मैं थोड़ा यहाँ पे आगे लाना चाहती हूँ, जो हमारी रिलेशनशिप्स भी हैं. यू सी whom you marry, let's take husband and wife because it's gender यहाँ पे है, your partner in life. I think this is also your karma coming full circle. You don't marry any Tom, Dick and Harry, you marry one particular individual, you know. And why? I fully believe in this, that it's your karma coming back to you. तो अगर उसको अपने कर्मा की तरह देखो, you must work out your karma with that person. In other words, now here again, I think it's you know, it's a very I would like to take an example and tell you about this. For example, you know, there are when you are in a relationship, let's say I'm औरतों की तरफ से बात कर रही हूँ. Men normally want a lot of validation. Am I right?
Yes.
Validation, you know, हर मतलब मैंने ये किया, मुझे सारे ये कहें, मैं but you know.
I think it's
Across genders हो गया है अब, लेकिन in a marriage relationship, he wants it from his wife also all the time, some sort of a validation. औरतें अपनी validation खुद ढूंढ लेती हैं. The more strong you are, you don't need validation from without, and you also get it from without you seeking it, because you know you. So but I mean this validation. So अगर एक आदमी को इतनी validation चाहिए, दे दो ना. What is the harm, you know? So I think then another thing is also that. It's a person wanting validation. Then also, I think you know what you would call it, that you know you can, in a way you could call it tolerance. You know, tolerance somehow is going very little in relationships today. Please again, please forgive me, but जैसे अब मैं कई बार अब तो देखती नहीं हूँ, पर अभी कभी देखो भी जो soap operas नहीं आते हैं, तो सास ने कुछ कहा और बहू ने तड़ाक से जवाब दिया, यू नो. सो मतलब और बड़ी अच्छी बात है आई सपोज कि भाई वो आगे से ऐसे जवाब देना, बट आई थिंक कहीं जाके कोई लिहाज इन द सेंस ऑफ, अगेन आई एम नॉट सेइंग आवर जनरेशन वाज वेरी गुड, बट समहाउ ऐसा नहीं है हमें बुरा नहीं लगता था, बट आप चुप रहते थे क्यों? एंड अल्टीमेटली इट पेड ऑफ, यू नो, व्हेन यू डिड दैट लेटर ऑन योर हस्बैंड अंडरस्टूड दैट यू नो आप. Because please let us remember, you know, that in a relationship, माँ को कोई छोड़ सकता है? अब husband की माँ हमारी माँ, किसी की भी माँ perfect थोड़ी ना है. So मैं इसको उदाहरण देके समझाना चाहती हूँ. Here I come to non-violent communication. So that is also based on Gandhi, because Gandhi's, you know, truth is very important. So it's based. Have you heard of the giraffe language and the wolf language? कि हम लोग जिराफ की तरह बोलना चाहिए, wolf की तरह बोलते हैं. Maybe you've heard of it? Then it's called non-violent communication. I'll give an example. Let's say पहले तो एक ordinary example ले लेती हूँ. I'll just quickly करें. I'll take an ordinary example. Let's say एक इंसान हमेशा लेट आता है. राहुल रख देते हैं उसका नाम. कि राहुल हमेशा आता है. One way of speaking is to, you know, as soon as he comes, you say, so irritating Rahul, you're always late. इतनी दिक्कत होती है, पता नहीं why you're in this committee. You can't even contribute. It's so horrible having you around. You're a real nuisance. I wish you were not coming. ऐसे ऐसे आप बोले. ये हुआ wolf language. अब जिराफ में आप कैसे बोलेंगे? Rahul, whenever we've had a meetings, you have not been able to come on time. अब देखिए तो क्या बात हुई कि आप judgmental नहीं हो रहे. You're stating the facts of the case. You have not been able to come on time whenever we have had a meeting. ये नहीं आपने कहा you're always late. तो आप देखिएगा number 1 ये हो गया. Number 2, then you say कि Rahul, you know, you make yourself vulnerable. कि राहुल जब आप नहीं आती हो तो मेरा छोटा बच्चा है, मुझे पिकअप करना पड़ता है, वो बेचारे को बाहर खड़ा कर देते हैं डे केयर के, बड़ा ख़राब लगता है, यू नो, ऑल दैट टाइप ऑफ थिंग. एंड देन थर्ड वुड बी अ रिक्वेस्ट कि प्लीज़ राहुल कैन यू कम ऑन टाइम. और वो जो दूसरा बंदा वो ऐसे कहेगा इट्स सो इरिटेटिंग, माई चाइल्ड इज सफरिंग बिकॉज ऑफ यू, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, यू नो. सो दिस इज़ हाउ इट गोज़. आई जस्ट टेक वन मैन वुमेन रिलेशनशिप. अब एक सिनारियो है, वी आर ऑल फेमिलियर विद, कि माँ आप वाइफ के घर में फंक्शन है और वो इकलौती लड़की है, मतलब और कोई नहीं है, सिर्फ शी इज द ओनली चाइल्ड. सो शी इज टेलिंग, सो शी इज हाँ चाइल्ड. सो शी इज टेलिंग हस्बैंड, एक वे है ये बोलने के लिए कि जिसका नाम भी राहुल रख देते हैं हस्बैंड का कि राहुल तुम्हें पता तो होगा ही ना कि है मम्मी पापा के यहाँ फंक्शन, लेकिन तुम्हें तो कहने की क्या कहूँ भी क्या, तुम्हारे साथ तो कहने दीवार में सिर फोड़ना है कि थोड़ा जल्दी जाएं. आपको मालूम है सब कुछ है उनके पास, सारा प्रबंध है, इट्स ऑल केटर्ड फॉर द होल इवेंट, बट अगर हम जल्दी जाएंगे तो उनको एक मॉडल सपोर्ट मिलता है, लेकिन तुम्हें कौन समझाए. और यू नो, सो मे बी देन राहुल ऑल्सो से समथिंग, हाँ तुम्हारी ये तो माँ ऐसी है, जब चाहो, और माँ तो क्या तुम्हारी बहन भी, जब भी अस्पताल जाने दीदी प्लीज ले जाओ ना, और आगे पीछे वैसे गोज ऑन एंड ऑन एंड ऑन। उसने बर्तन तोड़े, उसने जोर से बोला, बाहर चला गया बंदा। तो ये हो गया वुल्फ लैंग्वेज। अब जिराफ लैंग्वेज, क्योंकि प्रैक्टिकल बात हो रही है यहाँ। प्रैक्टिकल लैंग्वेज आप क्या कहोगे? यू हैव टू ऑलवेज नेवर बी जजमेंटल एंड यू हैव टू मेक योर फीलिंग्स फेल्ट एंड दे मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट। ये 3 चीज़ें मोटी मोटी हैं। सिल से कि यहाँ राहुल आपको मालूम ही है कि मम्मी पापा के यहाँ पार्टी है, और मुझे मालूम है कि मेरी माँ ना बहुत डोमिनेटिंग है, बहुत ज़्यादा। अरे मैंने हमेशा सहा है पूरी, खासकर इन माई टीनेज ईयर्स में तो सहती हूँ, अभी भी इतनी डोमिनेटिंग है। घर जाती हूँ, अगर चौंके में गई तो कहती हैं हाथ धोए के नहीं। अरे हाथ नहीं धो के आऊँगी क्यों चौंके में? बहुत डोमिनेटिंग है, उनका है ही ऐसी। बट प्लीज़ ना राहुल, है तो मेरी माँ, सो प्लीज़ कैन यू कम ऑन टाइम। और ऐसा तुम पूरे दिन भी छुट्टी मत लो, यू टेक हाफ डे ऑफ, और मैं तुम्हारे कपड़े भी ले आऊँगी, आई पिक यू अप, तो देन यू डोंट हैव टू टेक दिस। फिर थोड़ा जल्दी चले जाएंगे, भाई शावर कर लेना। मेन चीज़ है कि वहाँ जल्दी पहुँच जाओगे, मम्मी पापा को अच्छा लगेगा, बाद में तैयार हो लेना, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है। सो अब ये फ़र्क, ये इस चीज़ में फ़र्क है और पहले में फ़र्क है। सो आई थिंक ये जो बात है ना, सो यहाँ पे ये एंड विद दिस। एक तो ये गांधी स्टैंड, जब आपने कहा ना गांधी दिखते हैं, सो क्या देखते हैं हम सबको, सब में अनकंडीशनल लव। I think if as women we can give unconditional love. Please, I'm not saying that we should be doormats or men should trample over us, or we should not be conscious of our rights, of course. But I think there are many ways of going about the gender parity, or making a harmonious whole. So I think unconditional love. अब किसी ने और भी कहा कि संत, शुरू हुआ था कि हम सब संत हैं, संतों की वो है सत्संग है। So unconditional love is something all women can do. Number 2 is unconditional service. Number 3 is unconditional forgiveness and unconditional compassion. तो अगर हम सारे ये चारों तत्व अपने अंदर ले आए, so actually you become Gandhi. Unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, unconditional compassion and unconditional service. और लेकिन आजकल के ज़माने में बहुत मुश्किल है। Relationships में people start with what is in it for me, not what can I give. In unconditional love, you give and give, you give till it hurts, as Mother Teresa puts it. और ये बड़ा मुश्किल है ये करना, लेकिन ये ज़रूर है कि once somebody starts practicing things, ये चीज़ ही ऐसी है, एनर्जी ऐसी, it has to come back to you. It will come back to you. देर आएगा ज़रूर. So I think having said that, और फिर अगर बाद में समय आए तो समय होगा, तो I would like to talk about one last thing, and that is maybe later. Yeah, it will come up, yeah. So because that जो गांधी ने कहा है ना कि that गांधी कहते हैं ना, why choose non-violence? The law of non-violence, which is the law of love, is the law of our species. And then he says that if non-violence is the law of our being, the future is with the women. So ये future कैसे women के हाथ में है, later on अगर समय हुआ, I would like to give you a practical course of action. Thank you.
So without much ado,
You want this?
Shri Tunnel.
This is what tape.
That's for tape.
Okay, I think we are running short of time, तो मैं ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लूँगा. At the outset, it's a pleasure sharing this with Tara ji, ma'am. Grateful to you. At the same time, Anna Millia ji and your team, I just thank you, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am के साथ and Professor Bulbul and distinguished audience and scholars. It's a pleasure being with you. Now coming away straight to the topic. See, in the topic, मैं सब कुछ बोला जा चुका है, so I don't have any structured speech. Most of the points have been covered. So let me take it on a different platform. And how is it relevant today? Now it has got 2 main thematic issues, Gandhi and gender. First, what is Gandhi to me? Gandhi to me is an institution. It was a movement. What Anna Millia ji said with that photo, I gathered that term. It was a movement. It was a wave which came with the time and which has got an impact in the present society. Having said that, Gandhi to me was visionary. Again, the third photograph. He was progressive. He built upon. And third, he was dynamic. When I say dynamic, dynamics is a matrix. You are never static. You are moving one. You are catching from one step to the other. So he was visionary, progressive, and dynamic. He showed compassion, care, and sensitivity to the gender issue. He, as a student, I am a learner, I am a student, ladies and gentlemen, I am just a learner and student. He vehemently opposed to the wrong practices, in a very plain term, to the wrong practices which were prevalent that time in the society. It may be child marriage, it may be female infanticide, child labor, parda system, domestic violence, polygamy, and so on and so forth. So he oppressed them violently. Having said that, Gandhi was functional at the block root level, at the grassroots level. Today when we see Panchayati Raj, Swaraj, or today in today's scenario we call block, sub-tehsil, tehsil development, in that time he was functional at the grassroots level. So it was a bottoms-up approach with top-down leadership. So that was Gandhi. And he conceptualized truth, simplicity, compassion, what the other I want, unconditional love, ahimsa, non-violence, satyagraha, and sarvodaya. I won't touch upon satyagraha and sarvodaya, most of you have covered and the pictures display. So that was all about conceptually about the Gandhi ji. Now coming to the second issue, gender. Madam rightfully said, gender is a social construct. But there are students, and let me share you, when I was a student, to me gender only meant boys and girls. That was it. Ladies and gentlemen, gender is much beyond that. Gender is a characteristic determining feminist and masculinistic approach in a society. It is characterized, it follows from behavior और attitude, जो आजकल हम कहते हैं जी हमारा ये attitude है, attitude may be negative, positive, it is behavior, it is attitude, it is stereotype roles, it is a character, if I may say so. So that is gender. And when I was seeing the definition of the gender, WHO has defined it very well, and it says it is the characteristic of a person, maybe a boy or a girl, maybe male or a female, that is men or women, or gender different people. That what madam said, transgender, and now what we call it, a broad term has been used as LGBTQI. So that is a totally different term, which Gandhiji very much referred to. LBGQTI, Q, no new term. QTIQ. No, cure has been there, plus cure, and that. So that is a separate issue. So that is gender. Gender is social as well as economic issue, as well as a stigma issue. We have to be sensitive to gender. I will just cite a very small example. I was reading some article when Indira Nooyi, who is the CEO of PepsiCo, when she was made CEO of PepsiCo. Now I'm linking it to the present environment. When she was made a CEO of the billion-dollar corporation, when she came back home, उसने अपनी माँ को रात को 8:30 बजे हेलीकॉप्टर से, because she was a big lady, घर आई तो अपनी माँ को दरवाजा खटकाया. उसकी माँ ने आते ही नॉक करके पहली चीज कही इन यूएस, बेटा घर में दूध नहीं है, पहले जाके दूध लेके आओ. First go and get milk and leave your crown outside. So that was it, whether I may call it gender bias or gender stereotype, but that prevails in the society.
And you're giving an example of such a successful woman.
That's what I said, social economic.
So this is
And
a true story.
it's a true story. It's a true story. इंदिरा कोई को उसकी माँ ने कहा उस रात को 8:30 बजे पहले घर में दूध लेके आओ.
अमीरों के घर में
हाँ,
दूध नहीं.
मतलब दूध, whatever maybe. She was living in New Jersey at that time. So that is it. I think most of you have seen, that was the most common example what I could gather. मैंने कुछ speech नहीं तैयार की थी, but that is. So having said that, Gandhi cherished, reinvigorated the cause of gender. He wanted not only the women to be socially and culturally empowered, he wanted the women to be politically active to the political nuances of the freedom struggle. And what 8 or 9 photographs Anna Malai ji said, they were the class in itself. So I was thinking about them, and it was so thankful of you brought. So that was the women empowerment and women emancipation. Needless to say, now coming on to my next thought, what I gathered in my mind. I think I've taken 3 minutes, three more minutes to the next issue. Because Gandhi is an alive issue and a contemporary issue. So I just want to flag few issues. One, gender equality. We all have been talking about gender equality. It's a very loosely, no, what does in real sense it means? We have got human rights. We have got human duties. We have got our entitlements. So if we cherish all three, rights versus duty, rights versus wrong, wrong versus right, that is what is gender equality, both for men and women. जो मैम ने कहा संगत और आपने कहा आदमियों का पुरुष का रोल और जो चेयर ने कहा था पुरुष का रोल. So that is gender equality. Now how do we achieve? It is by inclusion. Inclusion of all segments society, vertically and horizontally. So first and foremost is inclusion. Two, education. गांधी जी ने बहुत कहा जब तक नारी शिक्षित नहीं होगी तब तक rest all is black and white. नारी को शिक्षा प्राप्त करना बहुत जरूरी है. So he spoke. There are so many couplets which I thought in my mind, but short of time I was. So inclusion, advocacy. Third and foremost, analyze the gender gap. Gap बहुत बढ़ रहा है. जब हम gap को analyze करेंगे, what are the causes? Causes may be poverty, inequality, illiteracy. These are the causes. But gap बढ़ रहा है. तो उस gap को जब हम analyze करेंगे, तभी हम उस gender gap को कर पाएंगे. And how do you do that? That is on the basis of aspirations of common man. हमारी aspiration, मेरी aspirations कुछ है, अन्नामलाई जी के aspirations कुछ हैं, मैम की aspiration और students की aspirations सबके अलग. So unless we analyze the aspirations, and aspirations flow out from the needs, and needs flows out from the prevailing circumstances. So it is aspirations, need, and prevailing circumstances. If we club all of them, the gender gap is minimized. So that is the first part I want to talk about, gender equity or equality, what Madam said about equity. Two, some alive issues. Gandhiji spoke many times about bandhuwa mazdoor. In English, we call it forced labor. Bonded labor. Sorry, we call it bonded labor. ILO, UN calls it forced labor. Australia and UK calls it modern forms of slavery. आजकल जो रोज न्यूज़ में आ रहा है क्योंकि उनका बिल में कुछ amendment हो रही है. So he thoroughly opposed bonded labor, bandhuwa mazdoor, but ironically, still it prevails in new forms and new shades in society. It may be earlier it was in bricklins, stone bhattas, and so on. Now, construction of malls. एक महीने के लिए आ जाएंगे. उनको एक तरीके से बंद हुआ. Embroidery industry, handicraft industry, carpet industry, उसको 3 महीने का ठेका दे दिया जाता है, पैसे दिए जाते हैं. So this is still prevalent, and Bonded Labor Act came into the year of the law 1976. It has been abolished, but it is coming into the new form. Mine industry. So it is an issue which Gandhi spoke at that time. Third issue, manual squenging. Last week, हाथ से मैं manual squenging का हिंदी translation हाथ से मैला उठाना. A lot of people are talking about हाथ से मैला उठाना. Manual squengers has been banned by the Act in 1993, but still it is prevalent. Last week, I think it was in Faridabad when two manual squenger died because they were cleaning the septic manhole. Septic manhole ने toxic fumes and gases create की और उससे 2 आदमियों की. So it has been banned. So third issue which I wanted to raise was manual squenging. Fourth issue which I thought was, sir ने भी बोला, ma'am ने भी, climate change and environment protection. If you today ask me what is the hottest topic in the world which the entire world is talking about, and India is a leader in it, India has done remarkably well, is climate change and environment protection. Gandhi at that time, he realized the importance of pollution, climate hazards, climate change, and what he called it, I was just seeing somewhere, it was called economy of nature. He coined the term as economy of nature. So, climate change, environment degradation is a continuous process. It's a phenomenon. It has been going on. So we need to look at it. And what Gandhi said, we are doing it in a bigger way. In the scales, the dynamics have totally changed. Climate change, erratic patterns of rain, erratic weather. So this was a live issue then also. And Gandhi was visionary. When I said visionary, he could anticipate child marriage. That issue was very dear to him. Though ma'am said, Ba got married at the age of 40, and so was he. I think he was same age. I think he was even lesser than a few days. He कुछ couple of months. He was 6 months. Yes, Annamalai said he was younger to him because he was 13 years and 6 months, few days, and she was 40. So child marriage was prevalent then, and he did a lot about child marriage. इन्होंने कहा Gandhi Smriti has done a lot of work, so many exhibitions. I also seen some of them. And Gandhi Ashram, incidentally, I was posted for 5 years in Ahmedabad. And for one of the best times which I ever had was at Gandhi Ashram. I think I was one of the Sabarmati, Surat, all Gujarat, because I was posted there twice. So what, 5.5 years, and I know inside out about the dynamics of Ma'am Gandhi ji ke ashram mein jaate hi, I know every stone, every room. चरखा तो सबको मालूम होगा कोने कोने का नुक because मेरे unit से पास था मेरे office से and I used to go walking and spend, though there is no river water in the river now, or sometimes in the monsoon, it was one of the blissful moments which I had. So child marriage was the next issue. Next issue which I want to raise, another 1 minute more on this issue, is sustainable development. All of us. Gandhi was pioneer in saying if we have to have development, it has to be sustainable. Unless we have sustainable development, we cannot reap the dividends of growth. We cannot reap the dividends of progress, what the society is making from all parameters of life. So sustainable development. And if I may say so, I will cite another example. I was attending one meeting in Geneva in 2015 or 16. In the world, there are 155 national human rights institutions. Like I was from National Human Rights Commission. In a world community, Asia calls it NHRC. For example, Bangladesh, NHRC. Rest of the countries call it NHRIs, National Human Rights Institutions. So, uska jo ek organization hai UN mein that comes under OHCHR. So, they were called ICC. So they were renaming something ki ICC cricket ka bhi hai or blah blah blah. ICC is a very common term. So internal complaints committee bhi hai. So they named it as GANRI. So I asked the chairman, at that time chairman was one minister from Germany. She said, I got inspired from the word Gandhi. And she called it Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institution. And she drew a parallel of what photographs you showed. In that meeting, I was present with the former Chief Justice of India, and Gandhi and Gandhi, how similar and akin, and then she drew parallel of various things. So that was sustainable development. And incidentally, there are 17 SDGs. Most of the scholars are available. I will just say first 5. Poverty, hunger, food, gender literacy, and empowerment. No, legally it first. So पहले 5. And जो 17वां है, shortage of time, I'm not saying 17वां is SDG 17 is functional democratic institutions, peace, security at the grassroots.
16 also.
16, I'm just saying 16 also. Yeah. So I'm just saying, and 8, incidentally, madam said, 8 is on dignified labor at workplace and off work. So sustainable development, child 8, SDG 8C. So what I want to say, UN also drew its strength from the Gandhian philosophy, and incidentally, UN came into existence in 1945, and their charter had many common points which they drew perhaps from all those things. Now coming to the last part, if madam may grant me just 3 or 4 minutes, not more than I've taken, I think 9. I started at 4:49. So what should be, how do we navigate ahead? What should be the road ahead? I'm the last speaker, so I take the advantage of that. Firstly, we have to change our mindset, attitude towards gender. Gender is an alive issue. What all of us spoke, gender एक जीता जागता issue है. उसको हमने gender bias नहीं करना, gender stereotype नहीं करना. जो हमारी शिक्षा में है, जो हमें गांधी जी से शिक्षा मिली और जो हमारे और इश्यूज हैं उस सबको मिलजुल के in an integrated approach we have to move ahead. 2. Capacity building. How do we build capacity building? Through advocacy, awareness generation, such like seminars, such like workshops. अन्नामलाई जी ने कहा वुमेन लीडर्स के ऊपर आपने कुछ किया, शायद पैंडेमिक से पहले आपने और भी कुछ एक या दो वर्कशॉप्स किए थे, मैं जब भी उधर से निकलता था देखता था मैं. So we have to build capacity of all the key stakeholders so they become torchbearers of this philosophy and in totality as a whole. 3. We have to dovetail gender lens in our development programs, in development projects, in governance initiatives. When I say dovetail gender lens, gender को बीच में डालना है तो जिससे कि उसका हम हाँ. So and third was how do we dovetail gender lens. 4th, we come to what ma'am said, gender mainstreaming. This is again a very loosely. Gender mainstreaming means evolve a strategy to have optimum use of available resources in given frame of time towards gender equality and equity. So that is the definition of when we say, we usually have just broadly said कि gender mainstreaming है, बहुत broadly term use कर देते हैं. So we have to dovetail gender lens, gender mainstreaming, and in today's environment when social networking sites and digital platforms इतने ज़्यादा available हो गए हैं, it is very easy for us to enhance our outreach. So that was next. Next, again a small issue जो हमें future के लिए gender budgeting. We should have an exclusive gender budgeting. Now, how do we gender budgeting? First and foremost, we have to इसको just in second. All stakeholders को हमें decision making loop में रखना पड़ेगा. Then earmark gender, that whatever is the amount you earmark. Then prioritize your priorities. Draw your work schedule. Monitor, review, self-introspection, and third-party audit. In just in one line, I've connected. I hope you will be able to connect what it gender budgeting को मैंने एक line में सारा कर दिया. Next, the role of NGOs, civil society, and academia. These all in one line. I've just said academia, civil society groups, CSOs, NGOs. These are extended arms of governance. These are enablers. These are progressive institutions. They have their outreach is immense at the grassroots level because नीचे से ऊपर को उठने के लिए these all 3 or 4 institutionalized support is must. And lastly, एक गांधी जी का जो most common proverb, in the world there is enough for everybody's need,
But not for anybody's greed.
but not for anybody's greed. Self-explanatory, and charity begins at home. So gender, taking out the highlights of Gandhi, charity begins at home. Home means immediate family, extended family, and in the last at the society per se, so that all of us can reap the dividends of Gandhi as a concept and Gandhi as practical points. Thank you.
Thank you for you covered a domain which is enormous. So we really need to be practicing enough for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed, and be the change, which is what Professor Sini also mentioned how it's inspired her to be. And just for your information, the next program that we are going to have is a capacity building one, which we are doing in terms of Swaraksha and capacity building, and sessions on issues like this in terms of governance and mainstreaming and budgeting, gender budgeting and laws that we're looking at. So we'd like to open this out for discussion, and let's just have within a minute questions and comments that you'd like to give. So show of hands, maybe we'll take it. Please identify who are you addressing the question to, or if it's to the whole panel. So Professor Sini first.
Thank you. I'm addressing.
Sorry. Before that, we have these books which we are going to quickly give so that we don't lose out on anybody. And I'd like to invite Shubhashish, please, to Ms. Tara. is a book on Gandhi and Jamia, which was released by our Vice Chancellor. Vipasha, I request you. Vipasha?
ये बुक हमारे जामिया एलुमनाई जर्नलिस्ट मिस्टर अफरोज ने ही लिखी है
To Dr. Suman. Tina, I'd like to request Tina to please present it to Sri Alumni.
Thank you, ma'am. Phone number, take this out.
Sajid to Professor Singh Farhat.
No.
Just give. Shayanthini
Vasant Bhaiya.
to
आपका रखना.
Colonel Ranjit Singh. So,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
and Sadia
साथ
to Professor Ghulam Mohammad Bhatt. Yes. So yes, Sini open.
My question is to Colonel Ranjit and
Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
probably I didn't get. Hello, can you? I think you can hear me. Otherwise, also.
Yeah, I can hear you, ma'am. आप
Yes.
बताइए, please.
तो सवाल ये है कि आपने कहा कि इंदिरा नोई की अम्मी ने उनको भेज दिया बाहर के दूध ले आओ. So what was the problem?
प्रॉब्लम वाज दैट कि एक जो हम टर्म यूज करते हैं जेंडर स्टीरियोटाइप कि एक वो लेडी सुबह से उसने लिखा उसने पूरी मैंने तो सिर्फ एक आपको एक्सेप्ट बोला कि वो सुबह से अपना उसने मीटिंग्स अटेंड की बोर्ड की मीटिंग अटेंड की रात को 9:30 बजे वो एक हेलीकॉप्टर द्वारा
Can I just add because she was actually present in one of the gatherings and she related this. She had just become the president of PepsiCo that day. She came back home and she was very excited to tell her mother and everybody, look, I've become the president.
Yeah, but
Before she could open her mouth.
but the mother being the mother,
But
mother
that's
being
the
the mother, she didn't distinguish between anybody or of her children. Maybe there might be other children. I don't know.
No,
Mother
no, the
I
idea is
don't know
not
what
that.
was the situation at home.
But what would have if it was a man?
Yeah, no, but see,
No, no. If
So
there
the
was a
expectation
my
brother,
question to
Brother
No,
of
further, sorry, I just want to add. The husband had already come back home.
So
And she said, couldn't he get the milk before she could say,
okay,
so
so
and thereafter she said leave your crown outside
okay,
at home you are only mother
This is what I did not.
leave your crown
I
outside
was thinking that maybe she's given equal.
So her husband
rights
didn't go and get the
equal,
milk.
strength and
No.
responsibility to everybody.
So
you have to understand the emotions feeling and
She
the
said
back
that the husband is there, but he's tired.
So I did not.
Oh. So the mother said.
That was not told. So actually. when
yeah
she
he was
said-
watching that is it
I mean, these are all additions to me. I did not know that. And you would please excuse me. I am a
no but the larger point larger point was that we shouldn't be gender stereotypes and we shouldn't have gender bias. That was the larger issue which I wanted to tell.
Yeah, exactly my point. Because I did not know the background and I thought that there was no gender bias and therefore she did not distinguish between a man and a woman and she let the girl
And
go.
I just want to add, he's perpetuated by women much more than men.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
others perpetuated in various ways. So we're really looking at that kind of a syndrome,
Yeah.
which you have to slowly unravel the the peels of the onion, so
Yeah.
to say.
Gee, तो actually background नहीं पता था मुझे.
चलो कोई नहीं तो हो गया
वो सर को बहुत कम टाइम दिया ना तो उन्होंने सब कुछ डालने की कोशिश की और आर्मी पैटर्न में बहुत डिसिप्लिन में सारे बुलेट पॉइंट्स डाल दिए.
Thank you.
We are going to take 5 questions at a time, and if you can note down, if you have, I'll also note down. So let's, Fidos was there, and then maybe the gentleman, and then the lady, and who else? Okay, we go for that.
So this is Firas.
Okay, so 4th person. Okay.
So this is Firas Siddiqui, Associate Professor at Human Studies Center. So isn't it the British projected uncivilized character of certain people wherever they went? for this, there are two parameters of progressiveness. One is caste and another is women. So hence to get free from these orientalist perception of British, Gandhiji has taken up the issue of women and issue of caste. That's why he tried to involve women at a larger scale, mass level. He wanted to involve them. Isn't it?
Politics.
Instead of looking him, he was a very gender sensitized. He was giving the response to colonial power. In other way, he was giving response to colonial power. We are as progressive as any Western country. So that's how we took two major issues, caste and women. In my opinion, I think so.
So
Instead
that's a
of he was
comment.
very, he was very gender sensitized. It was a kind of a response to colonial power. Like Rabindranath Tagore, he projected that women as a Mother India kind of. It's a nation builder. Women is a nation builder. So they have a responsibility to protect the nation. Exactly. So the same responsibility Gandhiji has given to women folk.
And it's nurturing the
Yeah.
mother.
Nurturing
also.
is a kind of a
Yeah.
gender stereotyping. But they give he gave these responsibility to women folk.
True,
And
ma'am.
within patriarchy, he does the
Yes,
same
yes.
patriarchy. He is not
Very
questioning
clearly उन्होंने कहा
patriarchy.
था कि you will
Ma'am,
have to complete all domestic chores. अगर आपको national movement में involve होना है तो you will have to complete all domestic responsibilities and you will have to take permission from your husband before joining the nationalist movement.
Absolutely.
So as a history student, I feel like this.
No, you're stating historically the way it was evolved, but I'm sure we'll have comments from them. But we'll take two more questions or comments. Yeah.
Ma'am, good evening. First of all, very much thank you for.
Please identify yourself.
Okay, sure. So I'm the student from the Department of Education, Jamia Millia Islamia. My
Name?
question is to Suman ma'am.
Now.
My name is Asad Akbar. So my question to Suman ma'am. The thoughts in my mind that since ages, men is being known with the name of the mother, like Kunti Putra, Ganga Putra. Even in Christianity, first of all we take the name of Mother Mary. Then
He was only the son of the mother.
Right.
He don't have a father. So that's why in Christianity
The
concept
importance
of
of women I'm talking about.
Yes.
And then even in Islam, first we take the name of Hazrat Khadija and Hazrat Aisha as well. When it came down to the current scenario, Gandhiji, just as you told that, mother and the wife to nurture women. Even in my house, my sister and my mother, I look up to them, not to my father. So my point is, in the Indian scenario, kami kahan reh gayi, ma'am? At ground level, there's a lack. When we say the gender equality, means you're automatically saying the other gender is not equal to you. So where is the lack in how we can fulfill that?
Okay. Good question. Addressed to the whole panel.
Yeah. No. Anyone who can answer this? That's my confusion. Thank you.
Your next. Yes.
Very good afternoon to everyone. My question is to
You are?
my name is Ifat Khatun from Center for Social Exclusion and Inclusive Policies. My question is to Ramji Singh sir. Ranjit Singh sir. Sorry. You talked about inclusion, but Gandhi established Dakshina Bharat Hindi Prachar, and he emphasized more on Hindi, and later he emphasized on Hindustani, more of mixture of Hindi and Urdu. But what we notice when it comes to academics or administration, we are talking or we are emphasizing more on English. So how relevant are we, and is Hindi inclusive in nature? Because when it comes to academics or elite section language, we are talking in English. But when it comes to Matri Bhasha, nationalism, we expect people to speak in Hindi. Is it that we are expecting only underprivileged section of the society to promote Hindi? Even Anna Malai sir, the slides were in Hindi, but the whole presentation was in English. So is Hindi inclusive in nature? Because even if we present that in Hindi, I don't think that everybody sitting in this room can understand.
So what is your question, Rifat? And please appreciate Anna Malai sir.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
I just wanted to ask whether Hindi is inclusive in nature.
You answer. You answer that.
I don't find it's inclusive in nature, but Gandhi promoted Hindi and he expected Hindi to be the official language.
See, India is a multicultural.
Along with
Yeah,
that,
last
one question, one more question,
One
ma'am.
question.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
you have to hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. This question is to ma'am. Yeah, ma'am, you said somewhere validation. Male, they expect validation from us, so they do not. So what I found that was problematic to me. And along with that, we talked about giraffe and wolf language.
Yeah.
Yeah, giraffe.
Giraffe.
Yeah, giraffe and
Giraffe.
wolf language. Yeah, but what I understand that truth is truth. If it is bitter or it's sweet, if you are bitter, it will be like more solution oriented. If you are like harsh to someone, what I understand. And one more question I have. This last question. स्त्री तो त्याग की मूर्ति है. Somewhere it was written on sir's slide. स्त्री तो त्याग की मूर्ति है. When you say this thing, you expect sacrifice from a woman, and this is not acceptable.
I didn't explain it, but he did. Last question here. Anybody else? Show of hands. At first.
Ma'am, इधर type. Student.
Okay, should we take a round of answers and then come to you?
नहीं, I think I come here. Come here.
I think it's just a comment, by the way.
Identify yourself and.
My name is Daraksha. I'm a PhD student in the Academy of International Studies, and my PhD topic is nationalism and gender in South Asia. First of all, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude, respect, and regards for everyone out here. I'm in awe of everything, how you've devoted your entire life to the study of a man and living life according to him, and that's really admirable. I wanted to say that a couple of things I felt while listening to it, and I think a lot of my sentiments, I do echo what she said. But I think right in the beginning, someone said that Gandhi is no longer just a man; he's a symbol, and he is an institution.
I said a value. I said
A
value.
value, and
He said
institution.
institution. So I
So
didn't
I think
agree.
that's what we're
Value.
dealing with here, and that because when you put someone, a person who is an ordinary person who actually lived, flesh and bone, but you sort of elevate him to the title of a symbol and an institution, it's very difficult to look at him. So,
No, I said value, not institution.
Okay, sorry, ma'am.
He said
Yeah,
I
he
said
said
institution.
institution. When you
Value.
elevate someone to that position, it's very difficult to criticize them or to look at them objectively. And we are all very emotionally attached to the idea of Gandhi, and so I think it often becomes difficult. But the topic was deconstruction of gender and
Understanding.
understand. I think
Not
someone said
deconstruction.
Understanding.
Deconstruction from the point of view of Gandhi. And to be
Understanding.
honest, ma'am, I think you explained very well that gender is a construction ultimately,
Social construct.
a social construct, and it's how the society builds it, and the society has the power to break it as well. Gandhi did not, in my opinion, from whatever I've read, and it's very limited, of course, but from what I've heard, he didn't question gender stereotypes. He operated within a patriarchal structure, and you're right. Maybe listen to the rest.
No, they're just clapping at the provocative bit, which is understandable. It's okay.
So yeah, and he operated within a very patriarchal structure. What he did was he made it work for him. He was a politician first and foremost, and he did operate. But when you said the use of giraffe language and wolf language, I think Gandhi really epitomized that. You said he was a very good lawyer, and for a very good reason, he was a very good lawyer because he was able to get everybody working together in a manner that didn't seem disrespectful to anyone. And I think that's why he was, a good lawyer. But however, he definitely operated within the structures of, gender stereotypes. And how often, I think, sir, you said that in his message for women, he said that take your position next to man as the mother. And mother is often, elevated to the position of a goddess almost. She's a revered position in our culture, in our society. But what that does is when you elevate one idea of a woman to that stature, anything that is not the same as that, anything that is not pious, anything that isn't supposed to be isn't sacred, anything that is not a woman is a mother is often seen as an asexual figure. So, and a woman exercising her sexual, rights or living life as a person with a who's not that, who doesn't conform to all of those things, immediately become the other. Immediately become like a figure to be denigrated, to not be respected. So that is the danger that I think often is experienced when you try to elevate one position at the cost of the other. You sort of question the humanity of women. If women only are to be the mothers, then they can't be. They're flawless then. They can't be questioned.
I think, yeah, that's your opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
And also your use of language is wrong. Your use of language is wrong, but we can come to that.
That was
My
really
question is an extension of what
Okay, then let's take this last two. So after that, we'll just get responses.
I'm Shelly, and my question is that, sir, the way
You're addressing
no, it's for everybody.
he's in front of you.
Because I'm in front of it.
So, the way that sir, you and I are product of our time, so was Gandhi, and the way that it has been mentioned that the way that he brought women into the movement was also in a way gendered. And today we understand womanhood as a spectrum. We don't see a chaste woman only. We don't see a good, honorable woman only. We also make place for women who are not those things. So, sir, I'm trying to ask you, how do we look at the idea of Gandhi through a critical lens today when we know all of these things?
Your name is
Sherry.
Shelby from
SWS.
okay, from Gender Studies. So I think we've got we can get your question as well. We are getting the younger generation perspective, and that's giving you a feel of how they feel as well. And that is a reality which we need to face and maybe address if we want Gandhi to be alive. That means critically look at him as well. I mean, he's been accused of being a pedophile and a whole lot of other things. We can't just brush it under the carpet somewhere along the line. We need to address these issues because we have to be honest to the next generation. So we'll get the last question or comment. Yes.
My name is Jamia and I'm from first year Gender Studies. Sir, my question is to you that you talked about inclusion, Sir Ranjit sir. So you talked about inclusion, but Gandhi coined the term Harijan, as we all know. So we actually have segregated the untouchables into one particular Harijan. So how can we include them when we are already giving them a particular name and particular identity?
You got it wrong. She asked the question. Whoever asked the question, she's got
Who would want to respond to
You
Rubaiyah?
got it wrong.
Okay. Would you like to respond to her first?
Well, I mean, you got it wrong. He wasn't making them a separate thing. He was simply saying कि Harijan, वे लोग भगवान के लोग. He was elevating their status. So he was not segregating them and putting them in one thing.
Yeah, but her
From that point,
perspective is of othering as well.
Yeah,
which
for
comes
othering,
in.
but
Yes.
that was not the intention. That is your perspective on his intention. It was not of othering or bringing, saying that they are people of God. Because I suppose you know caste system kahan se aata hai, do you know? The Purushukta hymn from the Rig Veda and how the Harijan or the feet of the divine became the Shudra caste. But they were all part
You have
of
to
the...
speak in the mic because everybody can't hear.
Chalo.
Can you just share the mic with her? Okay.
Yes.
So maybe
Can
we'll
I-
start with
Should I complete this?
Simi. Would you
Should I
like to
complete
finish
it?
or should we go?
Yeah, I'll just
No,
finish.
let her complete.
I'll just complete this. No, I just think that from my perspective, he was not othering when he called them Harijan. He was trying to say that they are people of God. और इसका एक historical context है, आप history की बात करती हैं, क्योंकि caste तो पुरुषुक्ता हिम से आता है ना, that the divine human being from the arms sprang the Kshatriyas, from the head the Brahmins, और Shudra आए पैर से. But they were part of the divine being. So they were all equal. ये नहीं था कि one was superior to the other. वो हमने बनाया. Now 1 minute, 1 second. So actually, he was trying to say कि वो जो दैविक पुरुष है उसका भाग है, तो उनके साथ discriminate मत करो. So that was his intention. It was not of othering. So I think we have
जाने की
to.
जो
So we have
restrictions थी,
to
उसको
give
भी
him
address
credit.
करें, they are also
But
part of
I'm
that.
just trying to tell her. So we have to give him credit for that. जो credit ना कि पुरुषुक्ता him caste. We have to understand in historical context में पुरुषुक्ता him है. जहाँ से निकला है तो शूद्र से बना ना, पैर से बने शूद्र. तो वो कह रहे थे है तो वो डिवाइन, तो हरि जन. इसीलिए उनको ये मत कहो कि वो भी भगवान के लोग हैं. So that was what he was trying to say. हाँ, चलो, yeah, yeah.
Sorry, not Daraksha, Zubair. Zubair. I think the perspective, it might have got operationalized into another facet, actually, and how it's seen today by the generation today. So how do we address it is something that we need to look at.
So, but then we have to be clear about Gandhi's intention at least.
Sorry, one second. Ashish has a question and then we'll get
No,
are you connected?
just adding on to that from the contemporary perspective, I would say that when I have also, explained to you all the concept of, active inclusion, wherein we need to identify certain groups which have been historically excluded, so that we can devise means, methods, policies for the inclusion in society. Maybe that can be operational.
And I think we also need to see in the contextual,
historical,
times that
contemporary.
We all see in today's time. We can be critical. We can, exercise our choices.
All
and say,
elements
"Oh,
of
he didn't do
intention
right."
को देख लो. That's
But
all.
उस समय के
आज के
time पे what
time
was the context in which he was working? I think that's something the younger generation really needs to see.
Diversities of issues in India.
Very, and at that point,
I'm Subhashish question.
Shubhashish, last question, and then we'll get everybody's response. Tara ma'am first will respond.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Shubhashish Trivedi. I'm from SNC Regular Center, third semester. Tara ma'am, my question is for you. Ma'am, it's not every day that we get to meet somebody from the great man like Gandhiji's dynasty. And as
Dynasty.
Family.
Each family.
God.
Dynasty तो राहुल गांधी
Because
की
he's
है.
such a great person that he has created a dynasty of people that are not even related to him. But
Rahul
we are
Gandhi
still in
was
some way
created a
related.
dynasty.
Sure.
That drives the dynasty.
Well said.
But
Chalo.
yeah. So, ma'am, I just wanted to, because you are family, so I just wanted to know, we know a lot of stories about Gandhiji. We have heard a lot of stories. But I would please request you to share some anecdote that we have not come across that is still not out there. So, just so we can get
Not in the public domain. So I think we'll take each panelist at a time and we'll start with you, ma'am.
बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला और आप लोगों ने देखा, लेकिन अभी जो आखिरी क्वेश्चन आया कि वो हरिजन क्यों कहला के हम उन्हें अलग करते हैं, तो मेरा तो सवाल ये है कि स्वाधीनता के इतने सालों बाद में मैं कई बार अपने आप से पूछती हूँ, जब औरों से पूछती हूँ तो मुझे लगता है मैंने गलत पूछा, कि मेरा सवाल हमेशा ये रहता है कि माइनॉरिटी, मेजॉरिटी, दलित, अल्पसंख्यक ये नाम होने ही क्यों चाहिए थे? जब हुए थे बापूजी का, जैसे अभी इन्होंने सही कहा, उस वक्त के लिए वो ठीक था, लेकिन आज तक वो चल रहे हैं, ये गलत है। बापूजी ने जो स्वाधीनता दिलाई हमें अंग्रेज़ों से, बाहरी शासन से, वह एक राजनीतिक पॉलिटिकल इंडिपेंडेंस था। हमारी अंदर की जो जंग थी वो नहीं थी वो। He left us. In his mind, he was dreaming of another Kranti, Ahimsa Kranti of Sarvodaya, which we have not even started. And that should be our aim, and I think unsaid or said, this is the aim. How do we continue Gandhi? And as he rightly said, Gandhi was a movement, so let it be a movement. And what we have to do now is certain words also I object to now. They had a meaning then, they don't have a meaning now. Like tolerance. Why should I tolerate a religion? Why should I even tolerate my mother? It should be respect with intimacy. तो कुछ चीज़ें तो होनी नहीं चाहिए थी। और वो जो स्वाधीनता दिवस है राजनीतिक, माफ़ करिए, मैं अंग्रेज़ों को भी मुबारक दूंगी कि वो भी आज़ाद हुए अपने जुल्म से। हमें पॉलिटिकल इंडिपेंडेंस तो मिल गई, लेकिन हमें अब अपने जुल्म से आज़ादी कब मिलेगी, ये हमारा आंसर क्वेश्चन है। और यही आज बापूजी का होता। वो हमेशा आगे चलने वाले थे। He never, in my personal thing, he never spoke of the past. He was always a man of the moment. I must take this chance to congratulate Dr. Annamalai for choosing absolutely stunning pictures. Dr. Annamalai absolutely is full of surprises. Every time I see him, he comes out with something new. It is congratulations, very well. I feel very proud that I belong to this Gandhi Sangrahalaya. But we have to go ahead. आप यहाँ पे बहनें होंगी, उनको शायद ये ख्याल नहीं होगा, आज तक किसी को इसका मतलब भी नहीं सही आएगा। जब बापूजी ने नारी उत्थान का काम किया तो उन्होंने पहले जो चाहते थे उनको, जो नहीं चाहते थे उन पर ज़बरदस्ती नहीं। अगर आपको लड़ाई करनी है कंधों से कंधों मिला के भाइयों से, तो आप साड़ी मत पहनिए, सलवार कमीज लीजिए उत्तर भारत का। तो आज सबको लगेगा कि इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है, सब पहन रहे हैं, लेकिन आप उस जमाने का सोचिए। तो जो सलवार कमीज का जो फैशन जिसे हम कहते हैं, बापूजी ने शुरू किया। और अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी, मैं राजनीति की बात नहीं कर रही हूँ कि मुझे कोई पार्टी पसंद भी नहीं है, हर पार्टी में कोई कोई पसंद है, बाकियों को मैं जानती नहीं, लेकिन बापूजी ने जब जैसे शुरू किया वो, अब हम इतनी सारी बातें करते हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने उस चीज़ को फोर्स नहीं किया, जैसे कस्तूरबा ने कभी नहीं किया। फिर उनकी बहुओं में से भी जिसको मर्जी थी वो सिर ढके, जिसको नहीं। मेरी माँ जो दक्षिण भारत से आई थी, वहाँ पे बहनों को सिर ढकना बहुत गलत मानते, लेकिन मेरी माँ ने वो गुजराती प्रथा ली और उन्होंने सिर ढकना शुरू किया अपने ससुर के सामने। वैसे वो बिल्कुल तमिलनाडु की थी, उनका भोजन और सब। आपने एनेक्डोट का क्या, इसी बारे में मैं कहती हूँ, ज़माने का जब वो शादी करके गई आश्रम में, तो उनको गुजराती खाना दिन का तो बहुत पसंद आया। शाम को उस ज़माने में गुजराती में रोटला कहते हैं, गुजराती रोटला और बाजरे की रोटला और दूध। तो मेरी माँ को तो रोना आ गया कि अरे मैं ये तो ठीक हो गए, बापूजी की गांधी की बहू बन के तो आई हूँ बेटे की, लेकिन मुझे शाम को ये बाजरा रोटला और दूध तो नहीं खा सकती। तो बा ने कहा आश्रम के रूल को बदलो, मेरे बेटे की बहू लक्ष्मी जो आई है उसको चावल चाहिए, और चावल आज से बनेगा। तो कई चीज़ें हम पत्थर की लकीर न माने, बापूजी समय के साथ बदलते थे। उन्होंने अपने बच्चों को तो बुनियादी शिक्षा दी, स्कूल कॉलेज डिग्री से अलग रखा, लेकिन अपने पोतों के ज़माने में तो बच्चों के ज़माने में बदल गए थे। मुझे तो बल्कि उन्होंने कहा, मैं तो स्कूल छोड़ने वाली थी, बापूजी से कहा भी, बापूजी मैं स्कूल छोड़ के गाँव की सेवा करूँगी। ग्राम सेवा क्या होती है इसका कोई मतलब भी नहीं पता था मुझे, फिर भी मैंने कहा कि स्कूल से बच जाऊँ। बापूजी ने कहा कि देखो तुम्हारे बाप की, और वो हिंदुस्तानी क्यों कहते थे, मैं इस बात पे फिर आऊँगी, क्योंकि गुजराती में उर्दू के शब्द बहुत हैं। तो उन्होंने कहा कि तेरे बाप की तेरे पढ़ाने की मर्जी है, तू स्कूल कॉलेज ख़त्म कर, फिर देश विदेश घूमेगी, और जब तू आ जाएगी तब तुझे जो सही लगे, तेरी अंतरात्मा की आवाज़ जो तुझे सही लगे वो कर। तो हम आज सबको अपनी अंतरात्मा की आवाज़ का उत्तर दें, तो हम गांधी को फॉलो करते हैं। दुनिया भर में एक ही बात है, गांधी कहाँ थे? गांधी के सामने कोई गांधी नहीं था। और दूसरी बात, गांधी की लड़ाई सत्ता की लड़ाई की लड़ाई नहीं थी, वह एक शहरी की लड़ाई थी। तो नागरिक जिंदाबाद। और आज हमें वो सर्वोदय की क्रांति लानी
There are few observations. It's not answer. Because Harijan, the whole Harijan movement, removal of untouchability campaign, is how to include the Harijan into the main focus. That is the main focus. And I belong to the Thakkar Baba area, which was started by Mahatma Gandhi to train Harijan students on the industrial requirements. In 1933, how many schools and colleges, how many hostels the Harijan Sevak Sangh runs even today. Why? Because when they educated, they can come to the mainstream. So the whole Harijan movement is to ensure the inclusion of Harijans into the mainstream. So we have to study the Harijan movement of 1932 to 1934 and his whole lecture, speeches, writings on that. It is available. We can approach the Deepali. Because we have to understand first Gandhi and his approach. And for Hindi, yes, thank you. Hindi is the now burning subject in Tamil Nadu. I don't know whether you know it or not. Today, our state government passed unanimous resolution to oppose Hindi. Because in 1967, the same party came to power because of anti-Hindi agitation. And when Gandhi started this Hindi issue, he wrote to Rabindranath Tagore in 1970 that the Congress proceeding should be in Hindi. But Tagore written to Gandhi replied that no, you should not do it because people from South will face a lot of difficulties. So Madrasi should understand. Therefore, don't include Hindi into the official language of Congress proceedings. That was the initiative for Gandhi to organize a Hindi Prachar Sabha at Chennai, and Devdas Gandhi was the first volunteer for that Hindi Prachar Sabha. He was insisted that there should be a link language like Hindustani, and people from South also want to have, but anything forcefully done on implementing Hindi is the only language, then we are facing a lot of difficulties. Because we have our own tradition, culture. It is not mere language. It comes with our own tradition, culture. Therefore, in a multilingual country like India, we have to be very, very careful. We have to give equal position to all the languages. When there is a committee, parliamentary committee for official languages, there is a committee, and on behalf of them, somebody came and inspected our Gandhi Sangralaya, and they asked so many questions about everything. Then finally I signed in the document, so I signed it in Hindi. So he was surprised and he asked, so you signed it in Hindi? Yes. I learned Hindi. But how many people of you learned South Indian languages? It is an official language. The government should give equal rights, equal position to all the Indian languages.
Dr. Annamalai, I just want to say, to add to yours, that Bapuji himself practiced learning Tamil.
Yes,
And he used to practice, actually he used to say, learn a word of a new language every day. तो अपने आप तो सबको कहते थे सब भाषाएं करो, लेकिन देश को मिलाने के लिए उन्होंने, कांग्रेस ने तो हिंदी कही, लेकिन बापूजी ने हिंदुस्तानी कही. His word was Hindustani. He went against the Congress decision. But then he had to accept majority Congress was saying Hindi. But they meant. Lekin, as Dr. Annamalai is saying, I am not taking his time, I just want to be very clear on this. What he is saying is, when you force Hindi on Tamil people, then they feel like not having it. लेकिन जो जितनी भाषा सीखता है वही तो एनरिच होता है. मुझे समझ में नहीं आता कि क्यों करते हैं. मुझे तो आज चाइनीज भी सीखूंगी, चलिए, बेशक हमारे यहाँ कोरोना आ गया, लेकिन मैं तो चाइनीज भी सीखना हमेशा शौक रहा है. भाषा सीखने में बापूजी माहिर थे.
When he was dying, he was going to learn another language.
बापूजी ने एक बार वो सीखा, लेकिन अपनी बीवी को वो फोर्स नहीं कर सके कि तुम लिखना भी सीखो. वो बा का आशीर्वाद लिखती थी तो वह कहीं एक डंडा कहीं और कुछ करो, फिर कहते थे रहने दो मुझे नहीं सीखना, बापूजी को कहते थे. तो खैर वो कभी फोर्स नहीं हुआ. मेरी माँ ने हाँ हिंदी की पंडित हासिल किया, गुजराती भी सीखी, और जितने हम जो भाषा सीखेंगे सब अच्छा लगता है. और यहाँ ये बोलने में ये आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट नहीं होना चाहिए. हम फिल्म वालों को धन्यवाद देना चाहिए कि उनके कारण भी सब भाषाएं बहुत सब्जेक्ट.
Gandhi has published Indian opinion in South Africa. In 1904,
Yeah.
you have to imagine, there was no technology at that time. 1904, he published Indian opinion in 4 Indian languages. Sorry, 4 languages: English, Hindi, Gujarati, and Tamil. In 4 languages he published. In 1904, it's all letterpress. You have to have so much of fonts, types, and everything. But he did it. Now we have all the technology. Why don't we go for one language, one religion, one culture? We have to be multilingual, multicultural, multi-religious. The technology is very, very helpful for us. So, for my humble request is to visit our library. We have a lot of resources, and you can study. You can send your students, and we can also have an MOU with you and provide all the facilities for you also. Finally, I wanted to tell you this gender relationship. Gandhi was very clear, when he introduced non-violence, and he opted for non-violent struggle in 1906. 1905 to 1945, if you take the history of the world, it's full of war and violence. But at the same time, Gandhi has chosen non-violence, and he demonstrated the power of non-violence to the whole world. When he opted for non-violence, the immediate choice for him is not the women, because they are embodiment of non-violence. He considered women as the embodiment of non-violence.
According to him.
Therefore, if you go for violent way, definitely 50% we have to off. He wanted to include everybody. The non-violent strategy has provided that opportunity. The Indian struggle was very successful. That non-violent struggle was very successful, not because of Gandhi, not because of the people. It is mainly because the large number of participation of women and children. That's why it didn't deviate from non-violence to violence. That's what all the credit goes to.
Today we have Greta Thunberg, who's actually practicing satyagraha,
exactly.
which is, a takeoff on exactly what he propagated.
Therefore, we have to understand Gandhi, and now we have a lot of dialogue between different groups. For example, traditionally now they are opposing Gandhi, like Dalit groups and Islamic groups and other Dravidian movement. We are starting dialogue on how to make Gandhi as a relevant, because now we have somebody who is there in India to take him as a guiding force in this very difficult times. In my belief, Gandhi is the only hope. So let us try to understand and follow. That's all.
Thank you. Dr. Suman? I'd like to
quickly
agree with Rifat, was it? Regarding male regarding male validation. I really would be in conflict with you on that quota, because these are areas where we are questioning, agency in a lot of ways. But anyway, your response.
Yeah. No, I mean, when we, also there was something about the giraffe language, and why not give it the harsh, bitter truth, and why camouflage truth? I think this girl is not here, the one who asked that. She's gone, I think, about harsh, bitter truth. Why you? So I was just wanting to say that language is very important. You may not. It's not that when you talk in the giraffe language that you are not stating the harsh, bitter truth, but you are. When you said you have never come on time, and when you say whenever we've had a meeting you have not been able to come on time,
that is really the truth, not that you're never on time. So I think the language
I'd
part.
like to add to that,
Yeah.
that it's really not what you say,
Yeah.
it's
How you say it.
and the impact it will have. If you're not going to get the desired
Mm.
result, there's no point saying the bitter
Yeah.
truth in any
Yeah.
which way. And there's a psychology behind it,
Mm.
which is what she was trying to project.
Yeah.
Because she does conflict resolution also, and this is something anybody from
And also-
Nelson Mandela Center? Yeah, no, okay, sorry.
Yeah, and also about regarding the validation, I did not mean it in the sense that we should promote patriarchy or that men should always be validated. I was just trying to say that very often in a man-woman relationship, the man wants a lot of validation, and the woman, she doesn't really seek it so much as the man, and she gets validation from without. This strong woman. I mean, we all seek validation, but sometimes the need. I was talking about how to make a marriage work. So I was just trying to say that we can, if you want, if it's part of your karma, whoever you married. I'm not saying being a doormat, but if somebody is so hungry for validation and you give it to them, gradually that need will go, and maybe the relationship will become better. So I'm not for validation per se, but what I'm trying to say is how to make relationships work. Perhaps that's also very important somewhere along the line. And so that is my thing about validation, and not that we're not promoting patriarchy, not at all. Then there's another thing about mother being a, figure, and why, again, that girl is no longer here. I mean,
she said that eulogizing.
Yeah, also about elevating Gandhi to, when you say that, when you say Gandhi is a value. So one doesn't need to elevate Gandhi. He's not elevating. He is somewhere where he has been able to show us a better way. So we don't have to elevate him. We only have to emulate him, or we have to understand how we can become like Gandhi. When I say not like Gandhi, because there's no fixed Gandhism, it's more like values. So when I said Gandhi stands for value, simply means truth and non-violence. So how truthful we are, how non-violent we are, it's very difficult to be, to consciously choose non-violence over violence. So that's what I meant, that he stands for values. These days Gandhi doesn't stand for a person, and it's not elevating him. And he doesn't need elevation. Why don't, and I personally also want to say this to people who question Gandhi, that the question today is not what did Gandhi do or did not do. Is no longer relevant. What he did or he did not do, he acted according to what he thought was right and did it, and is over with. The question today is, what is like that girl who questioned, or some ifat of, what are you doing? That is the question. Let us not, comment on he did this, he did not do this. I mean, whatever he thought right, he moved on. There's a lot you can learn from Gandhi, and not Gandhi the man as such, but the way he practiced non-violence, the practical part. So what we can pick up from there, I think that is very important. And the question is not what Gandhi did or did not do. The question is, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I think that's very important. So that's another thing. And the mother thing also, it's more like he just wanted to, well, a mother, when you call it, it's not that you are saying that if the mother figure is very good, then all the other women are bad. Of course not. Of course not. I think this also the younger generations, or maybe it is that thing somehow that, inclusiveness or whatever, but we're not elevating motherhood. There are certain qualities in motherhood which are not there in other ways. When you become a mother, you yourself feel it. The compassion, you change. There's a big change in you. Your perspective changes. You put another person before you. Baby is crying, only you hear the baby cry, no one else. So you change as a human being. You understand to put yourself last. So from that point of view, and I think when somebody experience of becoming a mother, then you can talk about why. So it was not elevating mother. I think he was just putting that, and so in that I already told about Harijan. It was not his point of view was. So I think I can hand it over to you.
Ma'am, most of the points have been covered. Only to add to what Dr. Anna Malai said. See, when you say inclusion, whether it is language or for any other thing, inclusion doesn't mean that you segregate anything. It means without any discrimination. That is the basic difference when you say include or inclusion. So that was it. So it doesn't say that you debar Hindi or debar any other language. It's a progressive way in a multilingual. That's why we are diverse. We are multicultural society where everybody gets its space. There is an elbow space for everything to grow and prosper. And so is the case with linguistics. It may be any language. Nobody is forcing a language on another language. And second point, there is something called functional unit. Both of us are talking in either मैंने हिंदी में बात की या English में. That is functional. I don't know Tamil. He may not be knowing Punjabi. So, or he may be understanding few words. So there is something called functional requirement on the basis of inclusive society. Thank you.
और एक जो कम्युनिकेशन और एक जो आपने कहा था कि कमी कहाँ रह गई, तो आई थिंक ये सवाल आप अपने को पूछिए, ये मुझे मत पूछिए। हाँ नहीं, क्योंकि कमी कहाँ रह गई, ये तो आई थिंक बड़ा सुंदर सवाल है। ये तो गांधी जी तो कहते ही हैं कि सेल्फ इंट्रोस्पेक्शन, वो तो हम सबको ही करना चाहिए कि वेयर आर वी, हाउ आर आवर डीलिंग्स। आई थिंक यू कैन, कहते हैं ना किसी और को चेंज नहीं कर सकते, आप अपने को ही चेंज कर सकते।
So when you're looking at a problem, it's really what is our attitude towards that problem.
And how can you change and not expect others to change?
Not change,
Change,
but
हाँ.
the attitude that we have
Yeah,
towards
that's
it
right.
is
You can work on yourself, not on others.
I would like to respond.
Just in 1 minute.
You were saying कि like you have given the reference of Christianity, ना? Bibi Maryam and Isa. सिर्फ पूरी दुनिया में एक रिलीजन में प्रॉफिट ईसा को ही मदर से आइडेंटिफाई किया गया। बावजूद इसके क्रिश्चियनिटी ये क्रिश्चियन एज अ रिलीजन देखिए बहुत पैट्रियार्कल इंटरप्रिटेशन है, बहुत नेशनल इंटरप्रिटेशन है। वहाँ पर वो जो पैटर्नल टाइटल है फादर की, वो लेना कंपल्सरी है। आप ये देखिए डिफरेंस देखिए, बावजूद उसके कि प्रॉफिट को उनकी मदर से आइडेंटिफाई किया गया क्योंकि उनके फादर नहीं थे। इब्ने मरियम सिर्फ उन्हें कहा गया, किसी और भी प्रॉफिट को नहीं कहा गया, माँ से उनको नहीं आइडेंटिफाई किया, सिर्फ प्रॉफिट ईसा को किया गया। बावजूद उसके भी उनके यहाँ जो टाइटल का है वो मदर से नहीं चलता, फादर से चलता है।
इस्लाम में भी चलता है, बट क्वेश्चन मेरा वो नहीं था,
नहीं आपने
क्रिश्चियनिटी में इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ वुमेन टॉकिंग अबाउट इन रिलेशन टू
टाइटल की बात है
जी, in relation to that the history. So how we perceive that in the current scenario, when in the ground reality, when we say gender equality, means you're saying the other gender is not equal to you. So this itself is a discrimination. What I believe.
That's
my point.
Maybe we have discussed that because that is right. That's why I said equity rather than equality.
And equity में इकोनॉमिक्स भी आ जाता है। हाँ वही मैंने कहा बहुत हाँ, that's very important. Which should be which should be focused on.
Can you not go 1 minute? 1 minute. Sir has an oath he wants us all to take. So maybe you want the boys to come forward.
Then I'll give the commission the boys and come.
Yes. For taking an oath not to take dowry.
Of course.
Not to take dowry.
So are you going to address the oath?
That way we can say that we come to married. I strongly believe.
चलो जी, चला जाए।
मैम आपको
पापा से पूछा है?
बड़ा हो गया पापा से
इतना इन्वेस्ट किया है आपका, तो कौन सा
आप आइएगा।
वो खुद कमा लेंगे, कोई बात नहीं।
आप अपने कल की सियासी के बारे में
उसकी शादी हो गई है?
उसके में नहीं लेगा,
उसके में नहीं लेगा।
मैम वो सबको लेना चाहिए, गर्ल्स भी कहती हैं कि हमें हाँ
Girls and then maybe the rest can we all come forward?
नहीं देंगे।
गर्ल्स चॉइस देती है कि हमें ये लेना चाहिए।
Yeah, we will not leave. We will not leave.
पहले होता था
I have your number.
Girls, maybe you can
Yes,
come
yeah.
forward. Come here. Come.
आप आइए मैम
मैम जाना चाह रही थी।
एक मिनट उसको थैंक यू नोट तो कहने दीजिए तरन्नुम को। She's done so much of effort.
मैं मैम के पास ही खड़े होकर हिंदुस्तानी में कह दूंगी।
बस एक मिनट जल्दी से ओथ। Right here.
Yes. We will not give dowry. We will not receive dowry.
We will not give dowry. We will not receive dowry.
And we take an oath.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Tarannum, very quickly, just stand there and.
Yes.
Yes.
मैंने रिकॉर्ड कर लिया है जिन लोगों ने
She will come to your home. Watch your feet.
नहीं आप बैठिए मैम आइए
मैं सबसे पहले शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहूँगी और खुशामदीद कहना चाहूँगी यहाँ मौजूद सभी लोगों का और अपने ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर प्रोफेसर नजमा अख्तर, रजिस्ट्रार प्रोफेसर नाजिम हुसैन अल जाफरी साहब का, जिन्होंने हमें गाहे बगाए हमेशा सपोर्ट किया और हमारे साथ इस प्रोग्राम को सक्सेस बनाने में साथ दिया। इसी के साथ आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक आवर ऑनरेबल चीफ गेस्ट स्पीकर श्रीमती तारा गांधी बनर्जी जी। मैम आपने जिस तरीके से इंटरेस्ट दिखाया फोन पे, मैम जिस तरीके से पूछती थी कैसे क्वेश्चन होंगे क्या है सारी चीजें, तो मुझमें एक पावर आती थी। मैम थैंक यू सो मच और मैम का साथ मैम का हमेशा हम लोग के साथ रहेगा और हम सब इंस्पायर होंगे मैम की एनर्जी से, मैम की सोच से। थैंक यू मैम। एंड आवर स्पेशल थैंक्स मिस्टर ए अन्नामलई, डायरेक्टर नेशनल गांधी म्यूजियम। आपने गांधीयन थॉट से जो हमें कनेक्ट कराया उसके लिए थैंक यू सो मच। आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक डॉक्टर सुमन अग्रवाल मैम कि आपने इतना अच्छा वैल्यूज पे, गांधी वैल्यूज पे हमें डिस्कशन में उसको आगे बढ़ाते हुए हम सबको उस पर डिस्कशन कराया, उसके लिए थैंक यू सो मच मैम। डॉक्टर रंजीत सिंह सर, आपने गांधी को एक इंस्टीट्यूशन के उसमें लेके हमारे स्टूडेंट को उसके ऊपर डिस्कशन को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं उसके लिए आपको थैंक्स कहूँगी। इसी के साथ मैं अपने चेयरपर्सन प्रोफेसर इब्राहिम को थैंक्स कहना चाहूँगी, उनके बगैर ये प्रोग्राम सक्सेस होना मुश्किल था। और साथ ही मैं अपनी डायरेक्टर प्रोफेसर बुलबुल जेम्स मैम को कहना चाहूँगी जो कि इस प्रोग्राम की रूह है रवा है। I would like to thank Meera's Hall administrative staff, all administrative staff, and especially thanks my coordinating team, my students, all level students, जिन्होंने अपने वर्क के साथ रात को भी मेरे साथ जुड़े रहे और ये प्रोग्राम सक्सेस किया। इसी के साथ मैं अपने सब कलीग्स को, विमेन स्टडी सेंटर के एकेडमिक स्टाफ, फैकल्टी मेंबर, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टाफ, सबको नाम बनाम शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहूँगी। और यहाँ मौजूद सभी लोगों का मैं एक बार फिर तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ और इसी के साथ उम्मीद रखती हूँ इस लेक्चर के बाद हम लोग लैंग्वेज बायस नहीं होंगे। थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू मैम।
आपका मतलब आशीर्वाद सब पे रहे, but you were just absolutely amazing because you connected. I mean, I'm actually impressed with that.
We took it forward.
हाँ,
We
you took
just
it
took it
forward
forward.
instead of